and carry Annie.
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome and happy Sunday. It's your boy, Chris Avalon. And welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Oh, hold on now. I almost closed something out. Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all the things in celebrity news, gossip, entertainment, anything that's got to do with celebrity news and gossip and stuff, we talk about it on this here show. So, before we get to said topics, can you please do me a solid and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification button, and share the show if you like, before, so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, whenever we do live streams, because that's the only thing I do. I basically do live streams, and then for those of you who happen to check the playback later on YouTube and all the other streamers, definitely leave your comments, hit the likes, all that good stuff. I appreciate everything, good, bad, or indifferent. So we got a lot of topics to get to because I haven't been on since I think Wednesday. Yeah, so it's like literally 3-4 days ago because I've been busy. I told you I was gonna be out of commission for a while. So yeah, I'm here. I said I'm gonna give y'all a show on Sunday because there's a lot of stuff going on and there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Including we got some Beyonce tea. We're gonna talk about that last episode of 911. Because I feel like I'm the oracle. Like I put something out there in the universe. I was like, can we get some gay stuff up on here? Child, it was the same-sex kiss that went down. So we're going to talk about it. Dwayne Johnson is being, dragged on social media because of his division over the whole politics, wokeism, all that other stuff. Because, he's trying to get them fans back. Them Trump supporters. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Madonna. We're going to talk about Diddy, of course, because, we can't do a story apparently without Diddy being involved. Kimora Lee Simmons and Russell Simmons. We're going to talk about Aoki, Levii, and Messi out here not closing her legs to an older man. So we're going to talk about that. We got some Drake Bell stories, 2 of them. I want to talk about Reacher's Alan Ritchson. We're going to talk about Latasha Scott because apparently she is suing Mona Scott and Live Nation over that whole Xscape situation. So we got some tea with that. GloRilla is calling for Nicki Minaj and Cardi B to end their beef. I got thoughts on that. Could we be receiving a joint album from Usher and Justin Timberlake? Quiet as it's kept. I don't want it, but if y'all want it, we're going to talk about it. RuPaul has chosen who he wants to play him in a biopic. We're going to talk about that. Lil Nas X is dragging somebody who called him a sun dodger or something or another or something. I don't even know what the fuck a sun dodger is, but we're going to talk about it until I had to Google schmoogle. Plus, Don Lemon's married now, in the words of Sophia. Don Lemon's married. He married that longtime fiance. So we're gonna talk about that and a whole lot more. But yeah, before we get to the topics, let's please hit that like button and all that good stuff before we go live. And hey to you, Synthesizer Explorers, glad to see you in the room. If I didn't mention it, we're also going to talk about Madonna because she was in Miami yesterday, and it was good to see her bring Ingrid Caceres on stage. Yeah, if y'all know the tea about her and Ingrid, child, that was a long time coming. So it was cute to see all that. That they terrorized Miami in the damn 90s. But anyway, so without further ado, wait, hold on, let me hit my banner. And Sailor Mermaid is in the building as well. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? Good to have you guys here. So, okay, let's get into these topics. And I want to talk about Monkey Man. So, I went to the movies to go see it because, I told you I like to support film, anything that got to do with something that's different than what we're used to getting. And I have to say, after I saw the movie, I really liked it. I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Now, I'm not going to give away anything in case you guys want to go see it, but I was like, let me pull this up. First of all, I already told you, y'all already know. For those who follow me on social media, I love me some Dev Patel. I've been a follower of Dev Patel since he started on the TV show Skins. Sidebar, I totally forgot that Daniel Kaluuya was also on Skins, as well as Nicholas Hoult. I was like, well, damn, I totally forgot they was on that show. Then MTV tried to remake it, and I was like, First of all, if y'all gonna go there and really try to go deep into doing like the salacious shit they were doing, the Brits was doing, y'all can't be trying to, water this stuff down. Like y'all really got to go there with the sex and all the other stuff, and they did with the Brits. But anyway, so I went to go see the movie. It wasn't that many people in the theater, but I get it. It's kind of like that whole vibe of what you get with John Wick, where it was like when John Wick first came out, a lot of people really didn't support it until word of mouth. Everybody was like, "Go see this movie. It's really good." and a lot of people went to see it, and then John Wick became a big hit, and then you started to see the movie increase over the years in regards of like fandom, the budget, all that other stuff. But they always kept the budget small. So even though this was his first film, Dev Patel, where he wrote, I think he also co-wrote it because I saw some other writers included in the film. I mean, in the screenplay. But he came up with the story. He directed it. Yeah, there was some moments in the film where it was like uneven at times in regards of the shots and stuff, but I get it. It's his first film. I'm not gonna hold somebody and be negative based off of their first movie. If it's at least look, quiet as it's kept, it is not easy to even make a movie. I worked on movie sets. I went to film school where I had to shoot things and stuff to get grades, and trust and believe it is not easy to film to come up with a story, write a screenplay, shoot what you need to shoot, and edit it in a way where it flows. So there were moments in the film where I was like, yeah, I didn't like it. The shaky cam stuff, I didn't particularly care for that because, like when it came to the Bourne movies, I hate when y'all be shaking the camera and all that other stuff to try to get certain shots. I was like, no, don't. I want to see what's going on. That's why I love movies like The Raid. I love movies like, what was it? Kill Bill even did that too. And then also John Wick. Like you could see the action and all that stuff. So that's what I liked about it. So there were moments in there where it was like, okay, can y'all hold the camera still a bit so I can see what's going on? But I totally get it. I'm not going to hold him for that. That's just me nitpicking. But overall, I love the story. I love the story where it was basically about he was seeking revenge and he had to infiltrate himself into this space to get revenge against the people who not only killed the people in his town, but his mother as well, especially the corrupt cop that killed his mother. And first of all, what he did to his mother was brutal. And speaking of brutal, the action sequences were brutal. I think I might be desensitized to violence because when I was watching some of them scenes, people in the audience were groaning, they were cringing, like, God damn, like there was a lot of that in there. I'm sitting there watching, like I think I was enjoying the action a little too. Like there's one scene where he bites off a guy's nose, and then he stabs another guy in the eye with and he actually pushes it in with his mouth. So he has like the handle part of the knife in his mouth, and he pushes it. I'm like, the fuck? I'm looking at this like, and I'm low key enjoying all the violence and all the stuff in there because I'm like, I love shit like that. Like, first of all, I watch a lot of Korean action movies. I watch a lot of martial arts movies. So that's kind of like my wheelhouse anyway. So whenever I see stuff like that, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. But most of all, I just want to say what I loved about it was seeing the Indian culture, a lot of the lore, and it was also spiritual stuff thrown up in there too. Especially I love the scene when he's healed by this guy. I need some people to correct me on this because I'm not really engulfed in Indian culture, but there was like this guy who I believe he was sort of half male, half woman. We had like the long nails. He wore the women's garb, but he was a male or identified. I don't know if that's like what Indian people consider as transgender or if it's just that they embrace both the male and the female halves, which I'm all for. I don't know if it's Shiva, whatever the case was. So I'm not really sure in like the whole, Indian spiritual stuff. So I don't want to mess it up and say the wrong thing. But I love bringing that aspect in there where it was just like, okay, the trans girls, the lady boys is up in here fighting too. So I like that. But I heard like some of the critics was about, people were going to be rubbed the wrong way because it's political. Because they did bring a lot of the stuff that was in there with the haves and the have-nots and how the Indian people who are up the higher echelons of the hierarchy, how they look down on the poor people and they pretty much just do whatever they want to them. And I'm like, why not bring political stuff in it? And this is what I love about being a person of color is that we can get away with that. White people always just want to coast through life and just be like, I don't want to be preached to. I don't want to be. It's okay, then don't be preached to. If you don't like the movie, fucking walk out. If you don't like people bringing in things and you think it's woke or whatever, then okay. First of all, I hated the fact that y'all hijacked that word. And I'm going to bring that shit up later when I talk about Dwayne Johnson. Don't have breed, don't know what the fuck race he is ass. Because I'm going to read him down to the ground when we get to that topic of him going on Fox News and that mess. But I'm all for like a certain person who's of color bringing in a different point of view and talking about the haves versus the have not. But I do feel like at times watching the movie, I wish it was a straightforward revenge film rather than him trying to bring in so much. I just felt like it was too many ideas being brought in, and at times it wasn't well executed. But the third act, when it gets to the action sequences and the fights and all this, I was like, okay, this is what we cooking with gas. Like this is where I was like, Dev Patel truly shines. I definitely think that he is up there where he needs to be a force to be reckoned with with in regards of Hollywood. And I do believe that he has what it takes to be the next big action star. And I feel like at this point, Hollywood, and I'm so happy that Jordan Peele picked up this movie and put it in the theater, because what I read was Netflix was initially going to put the movie out, but then we're not going to put the movie out because they didn't like the political undertones and they got scared. I'm like, really? So y'all give Dave Chappelle transphobic ass a platform, all these other people could say all the bullshit that they say on your network with no problem. But you draw the line with Dev Patel talking about all the political unrest and things that's going on over in India. Like, that's your line that you draw? Okay. So this is why Netflix, first of all, quiet as it's kept, most of the movies that end up on Netflix, the original films, are trash anyway. I have yet to see a good original Netflix movie that I was like, you know what? I need to watch this movie multiple times. We got The Scar Giver coming out this week. First of all, the first half of that damn movie was trash. The Tyler Perry movie, Mia Culpa, was garbage, which I knew because it was Tyler Perry. Anything attached to his name is going to be shit. The J-Lo movie, The Mother, wasn't that good. So I have yet to see a good Netflix original movie that I'm like, you know what, I could watch the movie a couple of times. There's one I will say that, okay, maybe I watched multiple times, but it gets like a needs improvement. And that would be the zombie movie that Zack Snyder did with Dave Bautista. There's some moments in that movie that I thought was good, but overall, I don't think it was a good movie. There's ideas in there that I thought was good, but overall, it wasn't a good movie. But nevertheless, if you guys have a chance to see Monkey Man this weekend or soon, definitely go and see it. I know it didn't really do that well in the box office and all that other stuff, even though I can't necessarily say it didn't, because according to Discussing Film, which I'm going to pull up, it says his Monkey Man movie opened at 10.1 million domestically. That means in the United States alone. And Universal basically bought the rights to the film for $10 million. So I have a feeling that with word of mouth and all this other stuff, it's sort of like a slow burn. This is one of those movies that it's gonna, the what do they call it? The who wins the race? The snail. um So my thing is, overall, I can't remember the term, so I'm not even going to try to attempt to say if I can't remember the damn term. But overall, I feel like this is one of those movies that is like you can't expect it's going to gross $100 million first week. It's one of those movies that everybody's not going to really want to go in and support immediately, or maybe they'll wait because they want to watch mindless shit like Kong versus Godzilla. So people just want to switch their brain off, and that's what's making all the money right now. So this is a film that I feel like with more, with word of mouth, like I said with John Wick, it'll basically get traction and more people will go see it. Because there was a couple of people in the theater when I went to go see it. First of all, I was supposed to see it Thursday, but I had to get a refund also because I got called in for a job at the last minute. So I was like, fuck. I said, do I forego money? Or do I go to the gym and see this movie and make no money? Well, duh, I'm going to go where the money resides. So I had to go get a refund. I went and got a new ticket on Friday. So I went to the gym, so I went to the gym and all the other stuff. Then afterwards, I rushed over to go see this movie. And then I had to go do work. And then I had to go work the Olivia Rodrigo concert, which was awesome. So I did all of that. And so I say all this to say, go see Monkey Man if you can. Dev Patel, like I said, is definitely got what it takes to be the next big action star. And I think that we need more people. We need to give license to more people besides the tight ass Dwayne Johnsons, all these little muscle heads with small dicks who basically doing fucking, wrestling moves as fight choreography. We need the next generation of action movie stars coming up. And I feel like Dev Patel is up there with the next big action star. Chris Hemsworth, so many others who are really stepping up and showing like they have what it takes. It's time to bring us some new blood. So shout out to Dev Patel. Great job well done. Monkey Man was awesome. I feel like upon more repeatings, I don't know if people are going to I probably will fast forward through all the political, spiritual stuff because I already know what it is. But I enjoyed the first time I saw it. But I feel like that middle part of the movie, it does slow itself down a bit, which may rub people the wrong way. People might get a little restless. But the action sequences, definitely 8. So shout out to you. I'm looking forward to seeing what other action movies you plan on directing and being a part of in the future. And if there is a Monkey Man 2, which I have a strange feeling we will be getting one, I'll definitely be there open night to support future sequels. Okay, so now we have some comments. Let me get to that. Oh, Felix is in the building too. He said, Chris, oh yeah, and we're gonna talk about Madonna because I definitely want to get your opinion on I know you went to see her last night in Miami. A lot of big stars was there. Who was there? Gloria Estefan was there. She brought Ingrid up on stage, which I heard was everything. So definitely want to hear your thoughts about that. But he was like, Chris, I have to give you a side eye and watch out for what? Because what about my comment that I said about Tekashi 6ix9ine was looking like a snack. He actually was in that picture. But I wouldn't want to hunch him. I mean, if I did hunch him, I wouldn't tell y'all. I'd take that shit to my grave. But I think it's because, the eclipse, all kinds of crazy. We had an earthquake, all the other stuff that's going on. It actually is a good movie, so definitely go and check it out because I always say like I love seeing stories in regards of if you have a different point of view. It's like people just kind of wonder, oh yeah, it's an Indian John. It's like no, it's not. There is a John Wick reference in there, but overall, I got more. There were elements that I got in the movie. I got elements of Kill Bill. During the montage fight sequence where he's holding up the 2 buckets of water, I was like, that's something that Pai Mei would have had the bride, aka Beatrix Kiddo, do when she's in her training. And then there was a couple of references in there that I got. I was like, I got the Raid, I got the Man from Nowhere. There was because I watch a lot of Korean action movies, which Netflix does import a lot on their channel. So them and Amazon Prime Video does that. But definitely check it out if you can. I would say I'll recoup the budget. It'll recoup the budget according to well. So he's gonna make his money. They're gonna make their money back. It was smart on Jordan Peele's end to release this in the theater instead of Netflix, because apparently Netflix just loves wasting money. But then again, by posting they shit on streaming. But then again, the first thing y'all want to do is raise y'all damn prices and have us pay for y'all fuck ups or your mistakes. It's like, but if y'all want to burn money, you do that on your end. Don't blame us. You could release these films in the theater for a couple of weeks and then show it and then bring it to streaming. You could do that. But y'all don't want to do that. You want to put it all off on streaming and then you wonder why y'all not making no money. One of the best original movies was Advantages. Such a good song. I've never heard of that. I may need to check that out. Because sometimes I'll be looking to see, like, do y'all got some good sci-fi movies over there? Because sometimes I can't tell. Because I'll put one on, I'm like, okay, this is boring. So my friend took a picture of Gloria that's been going viral. I think I did see that picture, but I didn't know that was your friend. No, I meant you watching the gore scene. So, oh yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about from earlier with the whole Tekashi 6ix9ine because I did say, oh, he looking. I said, hey, daddy. I posted that as a picture and people was looking at me like, what the hell? But but that is something. It's like that's why I said I think I become desensitized to act like when it comes to like really violent action. Like I love shit like that, but I'm not one of these people that's just like, oh, I love violence but hate sex. I like both equally, but I'm just like, no, but those people when he was doing those when Dev Patel was up in there going in and letting have on them people, I was like, they deserve that shit. It wasn't like they didn't deserve it. Turn around, bright eyes. I was thinking, you know what I was thinking of when you posted that scene from Urban Legend when she was playing that song when Natasha Gregson Wagner's character, that was, that's Natalie Wood daughter. She was in the opening kill. She was the opening kill for Urban Legend, and she was in the car, and the man was trying to tell her, Brad Dourif, aka the voice of Chucky, was trying to tell her, but he couldn't because he stuttered. But he mustered the moment to tell her somebody in your back seat. And the minute she didn't even realize it. And it was like, turn around, bright eyed. The minute she turned around, it was too late because Rebecca Gayheart went and chopped her damn head off. Spoiler alert, if y'all haven't seen a 20-something-year-old horror movie. Gloria always sees it at least one Madonna show. But you know what I was thinking too? And maybe I should say this for the Madonna segment, because I remember saying that, what's her damn name? Oh my God, I totally had her name in my freaking head. The Nancy from freaking Roseanne. And she was on Pose. Oh my God, I totally forgot her damn name. It'll come to me, or y'all put it in the comments. So, she went and said that she didn't want to go to the show because of Sandra Bernhard. I don't know what. Now it came to me. So Sandra Bernhard, when she was like, I didn't want to go to the show because their relationship is what it is or whatever, and she didn't want to be a distraction. I said, you know what? If your ass would have showed up at that New York show, because Sandra lives in New York, I was like, that would have been the time Madonna probably would have brought you up on stage. The day that I was there with Nicki and Donna. I was like, she could have been there. She probably would have been brought up too. I feel like Madonna is one of those people that's just like, um, I'm going through life. I'm doing things. If I see you, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Like, if we come into space and we see each other, I'm a hug, kiss, hey, girl, keep it moving. We'll have our moment, but it's like, it's no disrespect. It's just one of those people like, if I come across you, yeah, we embrace, we'll see each other. It's like catching up with an old friend that you haven't seen in years. So she gives me that. It said Netflix is okay with kitty snuff like cuties and entertainment for GOP entertainment. I hope that 40 million with the child. I can't even. But it was like, I know X is gonna scream at Madonna for saying turn the heater on in Miami. Yeah, I did hear that she was. I saw the video that's going viral of her being upset because it was like the AC was on. It wasn't hot in the suit because she loves keeping the theater high because it helps her voice. But she got to realize, like, that may be true and all, but girl, you don't want your fans passing out. When I was at the Olivia Rodrigo concert, they had the AC on, but then they turn it off at one point, then they turn it on again. So you could do that between situations. Sidebar: before we get to the rest of the show, I have to give it up to Olivia. I'm not familiar with her music because I'm not the demographic. Like she just turned 21. Shout out to the Pisces. That's what she said last night. She's like, any Pisces in the house? The kids were screaming. First of all, this was the first show that I've worked that I had to smell weed. I had to deal with drunken people, although there were some older people there that they were either with their kids or their fans, or they're old enough to drink, where it was just like they were really cool. First of all, Olivia Rodrigo's fans, very nice. They asked, like, some of them was coming up to me. They was like, "You mind if I go over here and take a picture?" Like they're real, well mannered. A lot of little girls up in there, so it was like 90% girls, a couple of little boys, a couple of little gay boys, and girlfriends with their boyfriends and their best friends and their parents. So everybody was really nice and respectful. I'll even tell you this. One kid came up to me and gave me, I don't know if y'all can see this little bracelet right here. Little girl came up to me and was like, "You want a bracelet?" And I was like, I didn't want to be mean or whatever. Like, no, I don't take stuff from, I can't, my mother told me not to take things from strangers. I would have told her as a joke. But she wouldn't have gotten the reference or whatever. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll take it. And it was nice. So the little girl came up to me and gave me a little bracelet. I was like, you know what? Her fans are sweet. And I just say Olivia Rodrigo's sweet too. So shout out to her. I actually like some of her songs. Quiet as kept. She had some of the security guards who are like old enough to be her father up in there singing them songs too. We was going down to like leaving the premises or whatever. Some of the older security people was up in there singing her music. I'm sitting there cackling along with the rest of the crew. So it was just like, so her show was really good. I've worked two of the shows. I'm working her other one tomorrow. So I think I'll probably know her damn set list by the time she moves on to the next city. But that's all I wanted to say on that. So I definitely just want to give her a shout out. So shout out to you, little Miss Olivia. She's a cute little thing. Was up there singing her song, and I have to say, she is the real deal. Like y'all be thinking like these kids out here is manufactured. She plays the piano, she plays the guitar. She was up there rocking out, and she also had the Breeders up there. I couldn't name one. I could name one Breeders song. I think it's the big hit everybody knows. And then they played a song because one of the guitarists I think is from the Pixies. They played some songs up there too. And then she talked about, and speaking of which, she had one of her, I think the first night when she was in New York, one of her TV moms was in the audience, and she said that wasn't even playing. Like she didn't even know she was there until the camera panned to her, because she does a moment with the audience or whatever, where the camera pans out to the audience. So it was a fun little show. But you know what? So I want to give kudos to any kid out here who is like really loves music, who's all about playing instruments, because I see a lot of kids out here that don't play instruments anymore. In the era and I grew up, you had to learn how to play an instrument. You had to know how to do it. So when I was a kid, one of the instruments that I gravitated towards, because I remember when I had music school, because I told you I went to what is now known as the Roseby English School in Brownsville, Brooklyn, PS 327. Shout out to y'all. And I knew her personally, the principal, who passed away back in the Dizzy. And everybody gravitated towards like the violin and stuff. Chris went to the classical piano, and I was up there playing that. So I had to learn how to, so I was busy up there learning how to play the classical piano. I had the opportunity to go to the Brooklyn Music School and really get trained. But I feel like because of the environment in which I grew up, which was the hood and stuff, I was kind of against it because I was listening and I guess peer pressure and stuff. So that is, I always say, one of the things that I regretted, that I didn't really pursue my career in music. And I feel like I still can, bitch. I still can. Who knows? Maybe down the road I will get some people together and be like, you know, let's work on some music. Let's do that. Let me pursue that actual thing, because I feel like that has always been in my blood anyway, is music. Because ever since I was a little kid, it was like I trained and I learned how to do that. But then really getting into wanting to pursue the career, that is kind of like my regret that I didn't pursue it as a kid, and then it developed because I guess fear and peer pressure, all that stuff set in. So I say this to you, future children: don't let fear and peer pressure and all that other stuff prevent you from really following the things you want to follow. So in so many ways, I am still following my dream and doing that stuff. But if I really want to fully pursue and follow my dream, I feel like that is something that y'all may see me do in the next couple of years. So just want to put that out there. But anyway, so you said somebody. Are you gonna say if I like the show? Well, you talking about oh yeah, because I told you I was working the Olivia Rodrigo performance. Yeah, she actually, and her show was actually really good. There's even one point where she actually rides around, floats around. Not why is it floating? She sits on top of a moon and she kind of goes around the arena on the moon. They said she was gonna be flying. She wasn't flying, but she was sitting on the moon, and it was just like, well, I guess it is flying. She was flying around the arena, which was cute. So somebody did pass up. Well, look, she got to take her fans into consideration. This is why a lot of people be saying, well, Madonna only care about herself. And girl, quiet as it's kept, that backing track is louder than your actual vocals. So, and there's no shade, I'm just saying. So if you up in here being mad over the fact that the arena is too damn cold, sis, just you know, it ain't like you on key with a lot of them songs any damn way. And you know I live for her, but there were moments where I was like, but it's the way the market cuties really bastardized the movie, where a lot of more stuff going on in that movie that many should watch, because it really shows the endangerment that young girls go through. Are you? I said she seems like a really talented young woman. She is. So shout out to her. And what people don't know is that, well, maybe they do know, she is Filipino. I don't know if it's part or full. How do you feel about J-Lo treating her? You know how I feel about that bitch. First of all, she's always been nasty and mean to people. Like, all the stuff I tell y'all about her, I have heard from people that I know. And, you know, one friend of mine, I told you, that I used to work with, I think he said that he was working an event backstage or whatever, and then one of his relatives was back there and was trying to, I guess, be nice to her, get an autograph, whatever. She was being mean, and they called her a bitch to her face. So it was like, sis, you cannot be coming to New York thinking that you from the block, and you're going to treat regular people in New York like we ain't gonna cuss your ass out, because we will remind you, bitch, where you from, as you claim. So you can try to get in touch with your roots all you want, or pretend you are, by moving to the Upper East Side with Ben, because I heard they all looking for a place out there. But sis, you can't be thinking that you could treat people any which way you want and nobody's going to talk. Because I do hear, like, when it comes to staff or whatever, and this is one of the secrets that I'll tell y'all. A lot of times when I get information, the best people to talk to, when you want to get real tea, people who work behind the scenes. So these people she treat like shit, those are the ones you get information from. Hair, makeup. I learned that from my teacher, Copper Cunningham, who I told you I was an actress. She told me, and then Flo Anthony was one of her good friends who used to do celebrity news and gospel. I don't know what happened to her, but I think she retired. So they used to tell me, you speak to hair, makeup people, all the people that work behind the scenes, and of course, if you talk to the wait staff, you talk to, people who clean areas, whatever. Those are the ones you get the tea from. And those are the ones who I talk to. So that's the secret. It's like Jayla must know that that's the reason she has no friends. And then when you act like you beneath people, people will remind you. Between Olivia Rodrigo and Billie Eilish, those are the only two Gen Z acts I love and actually relate to lyrically. Well, look, the kids was up in there singing at the top of their lungs. They knew every word to Olivia Rodrigo's songs. And I will say this also. A lot of the kids in that audience, they were on key. I was like, bitch, what is we got a choir up in here? Like they was hitting all the notes. They said, and she even gave them compliments. She was like, "Oh, y'all have beautiful voices," and she wasn't just saying that because I was hearing it, and my ears is good when it comes to who can sing and who can't sing. And I was like, "These kids is on point, louder than the music." Although I will say, the Breeders, y'all music was way too loud. I started sounding like an old man. I'm like, damn, this is loud. Because at some points when I had to talk to the people that was coming in, I could bear, like I had to literally yell, like put my face all in their ear and yell because I'm like, okay, y'all speakers is a little too loud, louder than Olivia's actual show. But it was good that she kind of brought in an older band to headline her, well, not headline, to open her show. I don't see many kids doing that. Where it's like, oh, let me bring in a band that came out like 20 plus years ago and have them open my show. I said, where are these kids singing? You know they was. And I don't think any of them had voice lessons. But anyway, let's move on and get to the next topic. And let's talk about Beyonce and her song Levi's Jeans, which I actually was listening to earlier today. I have to tell you, I actually love that song. So Levi's stock apparently rose 20%. I hate when this shit opens up because when I'm looking for something, chill, shut up. Because somebody went and made a comment about all of a sudden Buck being gay on 911, which I'm like, bitch, if you was paying attention, you would actually know that the breadcrumbs was kind of laid out for a while. You hoes just wasn't paying attention. I pay attention when I watch TV. I don't be playing solitaire and a whole bunch of other stuff. But anyway, let's get to this Beyonce story because I went on a whole rant about a topic we ain't even getting to. So apparently Levi's stock rose 20% on Thursday, boosted by a new Beyonce song called Levi's Jeans. Now, in case y'all didn't know, Beyonce has a song on her album called Levi's Jeans with Post Malone. And this reference has now given Levi Strauss & Co. a massive push. Now, soon after Bass Cowboy Carter dropped last month, the American clothing company altered its Instagram name to mirror the aforementioned song title. According to CBS News, their stock spiked by 20% on Thursday, which was April 4th. I would just say that denim is having a moment and that Levi's brand is having a powerful moment around the world. This is what Chief Executive Officer Michelle Gass has said. One of the things that really is significant about the Levi's brand is we place a lot of emphasis and investment in making sure that Levi's brand remains in the center of culture. And I don't think there's any better evidence of proof point than having someone like Beyonce, who is a culture shaper, to actually name a song after us. Beyonce's pivot to country has already earned her tons of cosigns, but praise from Sir Paul McCartney is arguably one of the most commendable wins so far because she recorded the song called Blackbird, which is from the Beatles, which I told y'all about the other day. And he said, I love Beyonce's he basically said he loved Beyonce's cover of Blackbird. And here's the funny thing. He said, I think Beyonce has done a fab version and would urge anyone who has not heard it yet to check it out. You are going to love it. I spoke to her on FaceTime and she thanked me for writing it and letting her do it. I told her the pleasure was all mine and I thought she had done a killer version of the song. When I saw the footage of the on the television in the early 60s of the black girls being turned away from school, I found it shocking and I can't believe that still in these days there are places where this kind of thing is happening right now. Anything my song and Beyonce's fabulous version could do to ease racial tension would be a great thing and makes me very proud. So it's funny how all these people out here are talking about they don't like her version of Blackbird. But I'm like, do you even know what the song is about? Beatles wrote the song due to the fact that black girls are being turned away from schools and all this other stuff. So it's basically about the racial tension that was going on in the 60s. So it definitely makes sense as to why Beyonce chose Blackbird out of all the Beatles songs to cover. And it's funny how it's just like y'all, some of y'all just be hearing songs, but oh, this song sound good. It's like it's a good song to groove to. But it's like, do y'all even do your homework to realize what some of these songs are actually about? So it's like it's funny when people say, "Oh, they don't like politics being put in the music," and I said, art has always been political. Where have y'all been? You just ain't been paying attention. So, I can't help it if you're slow. That's why I love this comment from With Mastery, which said Paul McCartney, I love Beyonce's cover of Blackbird. Dolly Parton. Beyonce nailed her version of Jolene. Nancy Sinatra. I am honored to be sampled on Beyonce's amazing new album, Best Samples of Boots Yet. Carlene Carter, who is the daughter of June Carter Cash and her husband. Oh my God, how did I just forget his damn name? Because he covered Hurt by 9 Inch Nails. Cowboy Carter is 100% country and 100% awesome. And it says white men on social media. As the authority in the room, I like to walk you all through why Beyonce sucks. Cowboy Carter isn't real country, and her covering these legendary songs is technically a war crime. So it's funny how a lot of y'all don't know what the hell y'all talking about. And then another person put just a guy explaining to Sir Paul McCartney why Paul McCartney is wrong about a song that Paul McCartney himself wrote. And I'm trying to blow it up because this is so small. Oh, they said one person by the name of Andrew Mitchell Schaefer. He's a Jew. He said, I just listened to it and found it ordinary. The beauty of the song has always been that it applies to everyone non-racial. This regardless of how you compared it and the influences of the time. And I said that I mumbled that little other part because he probably the one that is all for what Israel's doing to Palestinians. That's why I said that. In case people want to call me anti-Semitic, you could suck the shit out my ass if that's what you think. Another person put, I can't stop. Oh, this is what I've been saying for the longest, and I'm glad this is a cosign from what is it, her name? I am Amy Lotta said, I can't stop thinking about if Shania Twain could be from Canada and Keith Urban can be from Australia, why does Beyonce have to prove her Southern roots in order to create a country album? If it's not about being from the South, I wonder what it is. And then that's what irritates me because y'all be sitting there thinking, well, why y'all always gotta make shit racist? Because y'all do, and you thinking we're not gonna catch those microaggressions. That's what pisses me off. Is the fact that don't play me like don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining in the words of Judge Judy. You're not gonna sit up in here and try to make me seem like I'm going crazy when that's exactly what it is y'all doing. You're putting out microaggressions and you're gaslighting. We know what it is. Y'all don't like the fact that this black girl up here is singing in a genre that personally was founded by black people from the beginning. Just because country is not the dominant music consumption or dominant thing that black people are actually doing because it was a genre that was colonized like rock and roll and so many others and in house music doesn't necessarily mean that we didn't create the foundation or plant the seeds for y'all to go and dig up from the ground and snatch and plant in your own little situation and create a whole nother narrative. So we're not going to do that. So shout out to Beyonce. Shout out to Levi's Jeans. It is a good song. And I have to say, while there are country elements in there, I also, is it me or just me? But did y'all catch a little bit of that Minneapolis Prince type of funk that was thrown up in there too? There was certain rips in there that I was feeling like this feels like it's very Prince, very much Minneapolis vibes, very Mars Day in the Time. Like it kind of had that vibe going along with it. So I'm thinking like there was a couple of elements in there as well. So shout out to you, Beyonce. You keep doing what you're doing. You keep pushing boundaries because like the rest of you artists out here who want to sit up here and be boring and play it safe, at least Beyonce out here doing some shit and being creative. Whether you like the music or not, I'm just glad that she's out here taking a chance and creating a conversation, a long overdue conversation. And also people who are out here pushing back and being like, you know what, some of y'all need to get an education. I can't help you if you're stupid, but if you're stupid, why don't you keep that shit to yourself and not put it all over social media because you just show how dumb you are, but the lack of cultural education, musical education, and all the other educational shit that y'all should be put on upon. So that's all I'm going to say on that. All right, so let's see some comments. Saying, I hope they cut them a check. You hope who cut who a check? I feel like that if you talk about Beyonce and the whole Levi's thing, that's probably free promotion on their part. because it's like, yeah, but I feel like at this point, beyond what Levi's need to do is if Beyonce plans on touring with this album, which I'm hoping she doesn't until 2025, when she puts the rock album out. I actually hope that Levi's hits her up and is like, you know what? For the free promotion, let's endorse the tour. So whoever her costume designers and stuff are, or whoever she's going to get to design the outfits for the tour, she's going to come out wearing denim and all this other stuff. I feel like Levi's needs to step it up and be like, you know what? If whatever fabric you need, free of charge, because that she basically with that song is giving y'all free promotion. Then she should be able to do. They should be able to do that. Return the favor. I hate it when people say that everything is inherently political. Those who say that isn't are either privileged, blind, or being awful. Well, probably all three. Because that's why I say I don't understand. It's like whenever every movie you watch, every song you listen to, any piece of a painting, a sculpture, anything that you look at that's art. This is why I just don't understand people who walk blindly through life, not paying attention to their surroundings or the things that that is presented to them. Y'all don't just look at stuff and just think, or maybe it's because, with my Virgo mind, I'm a deep thinker or, a little too much. So I'm always thinking about stuff, always looking at things like, what does that mean? Why is that there? Like, I'm always questioning shit. So, I guess my fault is I always expect people to meet me where I'm at and stuff. And sometimes I just gotta look at people and just be like, you're just a dummy bitch, in the words of, Monique and Precious. Um, I don't know why I couldn't remember his name. It was Johnny Cash. How did that just now come in? I tell you, my brain sometimes when you be thinking about a whole lot of stuff and doing a show that's like, and I would literally like the simplest things I'll forget. So it was like June Carter Cash and Johnny Cash. I don't know why I was thinking John Carter in my whole head. I'm like, wait a minute. Carter was her middle name. Cash was her last name because June Carter was just as popping in the music as her husband. So, I got to give her props too. I think they made a movie on her too. I know there's a documentary or something, documentary or something or another on Paramount Plus about June Carter Cash. Okay, so they said Riverdance had "Don't Tell Me" vibes, but the Hive with their dismissal on Madonna's influence, and we all should let's not play games. Madonna was the first person to kind of usher country music and like take the country elements and also incorporate different sounds into the mainstream. She was the first one to do that with the music album. It was the country, folk, all this other stuff, but electronic elements. Beyonce's doing the same thing. It's not necessarily 110% a country album. This is what irritates me about people is that they out here say, oh yeah, it's a country. It's not a country record. And she's even said it's not. She says it's not a country album. It's a Beyonce album. When she said that, I was like, okay, so we're not getting a full-fledged country album. It's like I can read what people are saying without them saying it. And plus, I told you, me and Beyonce, we're both Virgos. I'm actually 2 days older than her. I was born September 2nd and she's September 4th. So, what was I going to say? Oh, so it's like, when we say stuff, we saying stuff, but we also got some double meanings in what we say, which is this, we saying some shit in between the shit, is what I'm trying to say. So, I knew that she wasn't going to give a full-on documentary. I mean, not a documentary, a full-on album was just country, because y'all wouldn't have listened if that's what that was. I knew she was going to incorporate other sound because she has to make it work for her. So a lot of people don't want no more artists going on tour. Yeah, I agree. We don't need no more people going on tour. I feel like 2024 is already oversaturated. So we don't need no more people going on tour. Like J-Lo's about to go on tour. I just heard who is it? There's a lot of old legacy acts that's going on tour too. Um, like a lot of old rock bands. I heard like Nine Inch Nails is about to get back in the studio and work on some music and go on tour. That's a tour I definitely want to see. I am obsessed with Trent Reznor. I love me some Trent Reznor. He's like one of my all-time favorite, like of my generation, one of my all-time favorite rock singers, performers and stuff. And I love that whole aesthetic. And if you ever seen him on tour, like his tours are amazing too. Like the way he puts a tour on, it's just like unlike anything I've ever seen before, where he would do like the big, he was kind of at the forefront of pushing the whole stage technology stuff too in rock bands, which is now you see with U2 and all them other ones. But Trent Reznor pioneered a lot of that. It was like Melissa Etheridge is getting, and I like, yeah, I remember when she first came out and it was like, "Come to my window." I was like, "Is that a gay anthem?" I didn't know she was a lesbian back in the day because I didn't know what lesbian and gays and all other stuff was. I was busy trying to figure my own sexuality out. But anyway, speaking of trying to figure out their own sexuality, this is a good segue. That was not planned. Let's talk about 911, child. Now, I don't know if y'all saw that episode on Thursday, but remember when we talked about they were renewed for a new season? Didn't I say on this show that I was like, okay, now, they got the gay couple over on Lone Star with, what's his name? Rob Lowe's son dating a cop, and he's a paramedic. No, he's a firefighter, actually. Or is he a paramedic? I don't know. It's been so long since I seen 911 Lone Star. I can't remember. But I was like, on this show, I was like, can we get some gay storylines on the original show? And child, they must have heard me. Or maybe it was just my oracle energy was just putting that out there. Because if y'all saw that episode on Thursday, we got a whole how you doing situation. First of all, I love the little rift on The Bachelor that they did in the opening. That was cute. But if y'all didn't see it, the episode, you could mute or whatever, because we're going to go in. So yeah, they had it opens with the whole Bachelor mansion and the recent guy that was on The Bachelor. They had like a whole thing with this girl who actually hijacked the limo and she wanted to get on the show, but she snuck on and she wanted to get with the date, so she glued herself to the damn ground. That was a cackle. But the whole thing started because Oliver Stark, who plays Evan Buckley, who Jennifer Love Hewitt's brother on the show, started getting jealous because Eddie, his buddy, who I actually thought him and Eddie was going to end up getting together down the road. I thought that's because I always sensed there was a little bisexuality with Buck. I sensed it from the beginning. I was like, because if you paid attention to the show, the breadcrumbs was pretty much laid out, and I sensed it. Well, it came to a head in Thursday's episode because they had him kiss another male character on the show. So they said, according to the rap, Buck's big romantic moment in 911 season 7 may have been shocking to the firefighter, but for Oliver Starr, the actor behind the fan favorite character, that wasn't the case, saying that we've been headed here for a long time, consciously or not. The threads have been there for some seasons. This is what he told the rap. And I'm like, I agree, because like I said, unlike a lot of people, I pay attention when I watch TV. The actor noted that he immediately loved the idea when series co-creator, showrunner, and EP Tim Minear called and pitched a plot involving Buck slowly realizing he has a crush on former firefighter and current LAFD air operations pilot Tommy, who I gagged when I found out who that actor was. I was looking at him like, why do I know him? Where do I know him from? Child, that's Lou Ferrigno's son. The original Hulk. So, and his name is actually Lou Ferrigno Jr. So he said, I have been thinking about this story for a long time, Minear told the rap. I was kind of bored with the hamster wheel of the relationships Buck had been in. His story needed a slap. It needed something fresh. This felt like it could be important to some people, and it felt like it was right for the character. Now, choosing Tommy as Buck's new love interest came down to timing and Ferrigno's charisma. Originally, Lucy was supposed to pilot the helicopter used to rescue Bobby, played by Peter Krause, and Athena, played by Angela Bassett, from the cruise ship disaster from the 3-part premiere. But because of her role on Fox's Rescue High Surf, Ariel Kebbel was unavailable for the scene that left Tommy. Saying, and I quote, I remember how much charisma Lou had in the scenes he didn't have to play an a-hole. This is what Minear said. Tommy first appeared in Hen Begins. During those flashback episodes, Tommy fails to stand up for Chimney when he's facing racial discrimination, a moral failing he later learns from. Now, Chimney is actually married to Buck's sister, played by Jennifer Love Hewitt. Minear thought that Buck and Tommy would have good chemistry also because Tommy already exists in the universe that allowed him to establish a new love interest without having to invent and introduce an entirely new character. The EP described Tommy as Buck 3.0. Tommy's a little bit older. He knows more of who he is than he did when he was at the 118. In fact, you will hear a little bit of that in the next episode, which is the episode that's about to come up. So that's episode 4. Well, 5 actually, because there was a 3-parter plus this recent episode was 4, so that makes 5. So they said, true to the the episode's title, Buck Bothered and Bewildered, shows off a rarely seen side of the character. Instead of the suave heartthrob he typically is, Buck stumbles over his words around Tommy, act like a fumbling teenager. And what it was, because I was laughing throughout the episode, so basically, Eddie is hanging out with Tommy and a lot of stuff because they have stuff in common. They're playing basketball. They went to Vegas to go see a boxing match via helicopter. And then everybody's praising Tommy like this great guy or whatever. And then Buck gets jealous. So there's a scene where he actually orders a basketball from Amazon Prime. Ha ha, shameless plug. And then he's trying to get Eddie's attention, but Eddie's on the phone cackling with Tommy like they the best Judies and all this other stuff. And it's just increasing his jealousy. So he orders a basketball. He calls Chimney, gets him involved to be like, yeah, let's go play a basketball game. It just so happens they run into, Tommy and Eddie at the basketball court. So they playing. He's pretty much ignoring everybody, basically going in like trying to challenge Eddie on situation until he gets jealous. He trips him. He hurts his foot, sprains it. And then that's when the big scene happens where Tommy comes over to Buck's apartment and they're so like, I need to confess some things. Like, I'm not trying to take your friend away from you, but he can have more than one friend. And so then there's kind of like this back and forth with each other. And I'm like, child, why am I sensing sexual chemistry? They're about to kiss. And then Tommy goes in for the kiss and Buck doesn't pull away and he kind of like just gets all flustered. And I have to say this. I love that they took that approach with this episode because so many times when I watch shows, I hate when it's sort of like the gay kiss comes in a show and it's always like the guy who you weren't really detecting would be into guys pulls away. He's confused. He's coming to terms with his sexuality. And I'm so sick and tired of throughout my entire life of living on this earth and watching so many queer storylines being told that is always the go-to narrative. So I'm glad that Tim Minear decided not to take that direction. And I think he actually said that. He was like, there's another reason why this romance is remarkable. Typically, when a presumably straight film or TV character starts to have romantic feelings for someone of the same sex, that story is accompanied by overplayed scenes of self-doubt and denial. 911 doesn't take that route. Buck's panic never seems to come from the fact that his latest crush is on a man. Rather, it's intensity of these feelings that makes Buck falter. Saying it's 2024, I didn't want to make it the bravest episode of 1983. That didn't interest me, but I also want to be honest about it. And that's what I love about that. That's the direction that we need to take. It's like, let's not make a big deal out of it. Let's just be like, you know what? If a guy kisses another guy, it's sort of like, well, I've had those feelings all this time and I'm not afraid of it. That to me is the better approach than this whole fear mongering that a lot of writers like to take when they go with that. And also, let me point out Angela Bassett gave her opinion on it because she spoke to Variety about her thoughts. Here's what she said. She said, I just saw it today. I was a little behind, so I had to thankfully I could go to Hulu and catch up on it. Shameless plug, right? This is what she told Variety's Mark Malkin at the launch event on Hulu for Hulu on Disney Plus, saying he was quite the ladies' man from the beginning, the wild card. So this is something new and surprising for him as well. Bassett, who has portrayed Athena Grant Nash, Sergeant Athena Grant Nash, alongside stars since the drama's 2018 debut, added that she heard about the kiss after it was done. She said, so I asked him, I said, how was it? He said, when you close your eyes, it all feels the same. This is what she said with a laugh. So if y'all are interested in watching 911, which is like, I love the show. Shout out to Tim Minear. And finally, we got a show from Ryan Murphy that's actually watchable. But it's probably that Ryan Murphy ain't that involved. That's probably why it's good. He's just a producer and not really up in there writing. Because, girl, some of them, like, you give me white Tyler Perry teas with a lot of stuff you be going with your stuff. But anyway, so 911 airs Thursdays at 8 p.m. and then you can watch it the next day on Hulu if you're able to do that. And I think also Disney Plus if you have that, because Hulu is a part of Disney Plus and all this stuff. So I say all this to say we need more stories like this. Like, I want to see more. I'm trying to choose my words carefully, but I don't want to say straight acting because straight acting gives me like gay guys who are just putting on a costume and acting straight, but guys who are masculine presenting, because not all gay men are just like Billy Porter or, effeminate likes to wear nails, does hair and makeup. There are gay guys who are cops. There are gay guys who are paramedics. There are gay guys who are firefighters. There are gay guys who are athletes. There are gay guys who love sports. There are gay guys who go to sports bars. So I feel like we need to explore that side as well and see more of that side instead of just the easily identifiable gay person, because it's easy for people watching TV to identify what they think gay is. When sexuality, all the things that are deemed um, marginalized are complex. It's not black and white. So that's basically all I want to say on that. So shout out to y'all over there at 911 chair. I said, we've been shipping Eddie and Buck. Hello. That's what I was saying. Like, I always thought that Eddie and Buck was going to get together, but apparently not, because the way that they've been writing them on the show, it's just sort of like, well, especially when you see Eddie and Buck are always like they're thick as thieves, they're real close, and how Buck is with Eddie's son Christopher, and you really haven't seen Eddie hooking up with women and stuff. So I always thought like, okay, that they were gonna have them get together eventually, because they almost are coming across like a gay couple without it being put out there. But I love the idea of, we have this bisexual firefighter, we get to see him explore this relationship with another man. So I always want to see stuff like that. And shit, instead of me sitting around waiting, I might start actually writing some scripts for, to create characters in that environment that are similar to that. And maybe I'll make it a vehicle for myself. Okay, so what's the next topic? Oh, chill, let's get into Dwayne Johnson. So Dwayne Johnson done pissed a lot of people off. Sometimes it's just best to just sit down and be quiet. Just take your little human growth hormone, shove that shit up your ass, drink your creatine shakes, and just, because is it just me, or if you look at Dwayne's skin, it's like a little tethered. His age is starting to catch up with us, probably because you fucking around with all them crazy ass white people and the maggots. So apparently it says that Dwayne Johnson will not endorse any presidential candidate this year. He confirmed during an interview with Fox News. And it's funny how you go on Fox News of all places, Fox and Friends, because you want to promote WrestleMania 40. Mm-hmm. And you up there talking about, oh, I'm not endorsing anybody. But when you go on a Republican platform that promotes Donald Trump, even though quiet as it's kept, they don't want Donald Trump to be president. A lot of these politicians don't even like his ass, but they will, in public, they'll like him. Behind the scenes, they'll talk shit about him. But as long as they get that win, they don't care how this country goes down the toilet. As long as they get a win, by any means necessary. So, according to The Independent, the Hollywood star, because he's not an actor, also known by his wrestling moniker, The Rock, shared the surprise revelation in an interview with Fox News in the run-up to WWE event WrestleMania 40, where he performed in the ring for the first time since 2016. His reversal arrives 4 years after the Jungle Cruise and Black Adam star threw his support behind Biden over Republican candidate Donald Trump, telling his fans, endorsing is something that I've certainly not done in the past, so I'm going to go big. As a registered independent for years now with centrist ideologies, yeah, okay. I do feel that, because I don't agree that you're even a centrist in this whole situation. But anyway, I do feel that Vice President Biden and Senator Harris are the best choice to lead our country, and I'm endorsing them to become president and vice president of the United States. However, Johnson has now expressed regret over his decision to share the news and said he will not be endorsing Biden for his rematch against Trump in the forthcoming U.S. election, telling Fox News, I will keep my politics to myself. Well, I don't know if he understands what that means. Maybe he's been knocked upside the head one too many goddamn times when he be doing whatever type of signature move that he does in the WWE. But when you go on Fox News and you flat out say, I'm not endorsing anybody, that I'm keeping my politics to myself, what do you think that means? So you say you're not endorsing you're not endorsing Biden. Who the fuck else are you endorsing? And that's what the people took to social media to reveal. Because he said that he believes that we can do better as a people and that things are going to get better for the country and that he will go with whatever the country decides. Does he not know how politics work and how, voting suppression and all other stuff? I guess that might be a little too deep to get into when it comes to Dwayne Johnson. He'll probably look at me like I got 3 damn heads if I sat and had this conversation with him. But anyway, So the people said, because I need to scroll down to what the people said. Give me a second. He also said that he's not a politician, but he's not into politics. But then he was planning on running for president. I remember that. Where is it? Yeah, because some people are saying that if by him endorsing, not endorsing Biden, that means you're basically endorsing Trump. So the fans basically said they felt left divided over his comments, with many supporting his right for privacy. Well, it's not private if you're going on Fox News to reveal you're not what your political beliefs are and that you're not voting for a person, and you're talking about woke culture and all this other mess. So it says, however, others are viewing his decision to renege on his endorsement of Biden as an inadvertent endorsement for Trump, even though Johnson has not publicly supported the former president. You may not have to this is the part when you got to read between the lines. You can't necessarily sit and say that, oh, but he didn't actually come out and say it. But this is the go-to that they like to do when it comes to politics. Oh, they didn't flat out say it, but I'm like, but I can read between the lines. Like when it comes to microaggression, oh, they didn't flat out call him an N-word. There's other ways you could be racist without actually having to flat out go to that direct. That's the most extreme. And then that's what I don't like about people is like, y'all feel like, oh, well, if they didn't actually or deliberately say it, or they didn't really say it, then it's not so. But I'm like, I can read between lines. I'm not dumb. Yeah, so I do agree with that. I said, if you say I'm not supporting Biden and you go on Fox News and say that, who else are you voting for? That basically means that you are supporting Trump. You don't have to say it, because if he does say it, that may fuck up his future in Hollywood. Because they pro Biden. Not only that, I also heard on The View when they talked about it on Friday, because I didn't see Friday's episode, he got, when they talked about it during Hot Topics, the audience booed him. So I don't think Dwayne Johnson will be going on The View anytime soon to promote any of his movies. But in my opinion on this whole situation, I feel like this basically translates to that he's upset he's being trolled by a bunch of misogynistic, dickless man babies who despise anything that challenges or changes what they're used to. We shouldn't see women, in powerful positions. White people are sick of being blamed for racism. Those freaky trans people need to go back underground where they belong. And for God's sake, woke Hollywood, stop changing up our favorite comic book heroes with your agenda. Because they always accuse of that. Like they mad over Julia. I was about to say Julia Fox. What's her name? The girl from Ozark playing Silver Surfer. And I'm like, she exists in that world. She's actually in the comics. What the fuck y'all talking about? Y'all mad. We want our Silver Surfer. Well, then go watch Rise of the goddamn Silver Surfer. Or if you think you could do better, why don't you write a script and send it into Hollywood? Get you an agent. See what happens. People just want to be mad over social media over some bullshit. But anyway. But like I said, you know what, Dwayne, you should be seen and not heard. Just stick to the rivers and the lakes that you used to, which is, drinking your protein shakes, shooting HGH up your ass, and stick to playing the same character you always play in the same action movies you get hired to star in. So that's all I got to say on that. Now, let's get to these comments. Oh, we read that one. Read that one. laughing. It's like a hot ass mess, chill. I say he's another one who plays a lot. Oops, upside your head. Somebody needs to go upside his head. So does that mean he's going to return a Black Adam check and receipt? Because Black Adam isn't a biracial man of Black and Pacific descent. And that's why I say it's funny, because he another one that like to, embrace his Black side when it's convenient. Because I'm like, he another one that comes across as like racially confused. That's what he gives me. So he had no issue taking woke roles and woke checks. No, because it's funny how y'all will sit and take the roles when it's convenient, but you got an issue with woke culture. And I'm sick and tired of people taking the word woke and bastardizing it. And basically, because apparently people don't know what it means, it's an adjective derived from African American vernacular English, AAVE for short, meaning alert to racial prejudice and discrimination. And then, back in the 2010s is when it became a bigger thing. So it said back beginning in the 2010s, it came to encompass a broader awareness of social inequalities such as racial injustice, sexism, and denial of LGBT rights. So when people come up in here and start saying, oh, y'all being woke or whatever, so basically what you're saying is you have a problem. Like, you are here for racial prejudice and discrimination. You love the fact of seeing LGBTQ rights denied to queer people, that you're all for racial injustice, you're all for sexism, you're all for homophobia, transphobia, all those things. That's what you're here for. Because woke is basically, is what I've been saying for the longest, it's being aware of prejudice and discrimination against not only people of color, but women and LGBTQ people. So when you create these projects and we're incorporating trans people in it, we're incorporating women in characters, we're giving Black people opportunities to lead their films, and y'all want to call it woke. So y'all basically are not here for Black people having opportunities, gay people or queer people having opportunities, because I'm putting everybody under that broad spectrum, and you're not here for women having opportunities. And if that's the case, sit your ass home, beat your dicks while you're playing Pokemon or whatever game of your choice and just be mad that a lot of you dickless man babies can't get no pussy or bussy, depending on what you like. So it said, love him down, but he needs to have a tall, sparkling glass of shut the fuck up. I agree. And then it said, I would say I'm surprised, but I'm not. It probably started from the home. I told you, probably been knocked upside the head one too many damn times. Shout out to my Hawaiian people. I do have a lot of Hawaiian friends, and I know he's from Hawaii, but don't let that man be your representation of that community, because Dwayne, child, first of all, you walking around with a name like Dwayne. Now, you can't get no blacker than that. I got a cousin named Dwayne, by the way. But anyway, let's move on and talk about Puffy. And that, I'm calling him that because Wendy Williams always call him Puffy. He changed his name so many damn times, she always called him Puffy. So shout out to my girl, Wendy Williams. How you doing? Diddy's criminal and sexual allegations reportedly be examined in multiple documentaries that are currently being made. Now, TMZ is reporting that embattled mogul's woes are set to be explored through documentaries from both the UK and US studios. One of the companies confirmed to be working on a project is ABC Studios for Hulu. Which makes sense because when you look at it, a lot of the documentaries and stuff that have been coming out as of late, like when they did with the Megan Thee Stallion and a whole bunch of others, Hulu's been behind that, or ABC Studios. So it says producers reportedly throwing together projects amid Diddy's legal woes. The outlet states that the documentaries range in subject matter, with some detailing his civil lawsuits and accusations, while others document his recent federal raids. Sources notified the outlet that production for the documentaries went into overdrive after Homeland Security raided Sean Combs' homes. Former Diddy associates, dancers, producers, and record label execs have all been contacted for the projects. Combs' ex-artist, she about to talk, Aubrey O'Day, because she been all over social media. Sidebar, did y'all hear Aubrey O'Day is doing baddies? Girl, you about to get your ass beat on there. I wouldn't have did it, but I guess the money's good. But anyway, back to the thing. Now, Combs' ex-artist Aubrey O'Day, former girlfriend Cassie, and various assistants and security guards have reportedly been contacted to participate in the documentaries. I wonder if what's her name could talk too. Dawn Richard. Shout out to her because she's on the new Cakes to Killer album. If y'all haven't heard that, definitely check that out. But let me pull up some of these little thingamabobs before we get into the rest of this thing, because I know we got one of the legal situations that I found on the Twitter about, Thanksgiving 2022 with Mr. Jones, being sexually assaulted by Young Miami's cousin. So I'm going to leave that up while we continue the conversation. Cassie's November lawsuit. They had a whole situation with that. Like, we already know about, the Cassie lawsuit and everything. And we know about, Rodney Jones coming and speaking out about how Diddy, among others, groped his genital, his area, front and the back. And then how he alleged Diddy forced him to watch a video involving Stevie J hunching another man, which we all come to find out was a porn star. It was not Stevie J, even though they do favor each other. And then we got Stevie out here defending Diddy. And so I said, a hit dog will holler, is what I say. So, and then CNN also reported the mogul was accused of dropping a drug into Joy Dickerson Neal's drink while at dinner, and she claimed that the hip hop star allegedly pressured her to smoke weed in the car, a whole bunch of other stuff. So it was a lot of stuff that was coming out. Then the whole gang R of a 17-year-old girl at the time, where Rolling Stone originally shared the story with the Jane Doe saying that Har Pierre was in on it, that he trafficked her from I forget where she was from. I think she was from Baltimore or something or another, that he trafficked her from where she was at 17 and brought her to Daddy House, which was the studio that Diddy was always making his music out of. And, a situation had happened. So I say, oh, listen, say, chill. It's about to be a mess over here with this. Trust and believe when I tell you, my Chris will be up in here watching all them surviving Diddies. I do wonder if what's going on with the 50 Cent one, because he always be trolling Diddy. And I am curious if 50 Cent is planning on doing still going to make his documentary or whatever. I don't know if I haven't checked his social media and all this other stuff, but I am curious if he's going to end up doing it. I hope he does, but child, 50, you better make sure all your ducks is in a row and your house is in order. Because remember, your baby mother, the one that you had with the recent kid that you've been going around talking all this mess about on social media and at Nicki Minaj's concert, she said you assaulted her and stuff. So I hope you don't have no stuff about to come out about you. We gonna be getting surviving 50 Cent. I mean, I'll sit back and wait, but I am curious to see if 50 Cent's going to do his docu-series, whatever you want to call it, and if she's going to do the same thing. I mean, if and not the same thing, but all the other people is going to come forward and do their own as well. I'll be watching all of them, or hopefully the critics will let us know which one's the best one to watch. Because I'm not going to sit here and watch 50 damn versions of the same damn documentary from other people. I mean, aren't Samoans from Hawaii or Hawaiian or whatever? I don't want to say same shit, different toilet, but I mean, I think he is Samoan. But I always thought like Samoans are like part of like the Hawaiian culture and all this stuff. I don't know. But anyway, so I saw a clip of him trying to rub on Mike Tyson during the interview, and Mike, because did he always be trying to touch people? It's like, girl, why you always trying to rub your body parts or rub on people? Like, what's wrong with you? I feel like Diddy was touched as a child. Somebody did something to him, because you just be out here being a predator to every man you come across. You don't need to be rubbing up on every damn man or trying to get everybody into your little freak house, whatever. If you a freak, be a freak, but don't be trying to incorporate everybody into your freakdom. Hold on, did I incorporate it? Because, child, I think I might have. I think I forgot to add my Madonna story. Hold on. I'm like, wait a minute now. Did I forget to add Madonna to the conversation? Because I don't see her in here. Please hold. Okay, so now I got it. Yeah, I forgot to add her to the conversation, and I mean to the docket. No, it is a different toilet. I say same shit, different. Oh yeah, this same shit, different toilet. That's what I always say. But anyway, so let's move on. Let's talk about Madonna, who like I said, she performed in Miami and all this other stuff. But she has addressed the whole situation from the two fans that attended her concert last year in December I think it was at the Barclays Center. Sidebar: speaking of Barclays, and I heard Nicki Minaj perform. I think she performed at Barclays Center last night in Brooklyn. But anyway, which her Pink Friday 2 tour and all this other stuff. I told you I worked her other tour when she was at the Garden. But anyway, let's get to Madonna. And I think I brought that up because Madonna and Nicki have done 2 songs together. I Don't Give a, and then Give Me All Your Lovin'. I hate Give Me All Your Lovin'. I think they actually did more than 2 songs, right? I could be wrong, but if I am, let me know in the comments. But anyway, so Madonna's attorneys on Thursday filed a motion to dismiss a lawsuit against the pop superstar for starting a concert 2 hours late, arguing the plaintiffs didn't demonstrate any clear injuries. Court documents show. What you was trying to say? That somebody had to beat the shit out of you in order? What's the clear injury? So it said plaintiffs Michael Fellows and Jonathan Hayden filed a lawsuit earlier this year after attending one of Madonna's global celebration tour shows in Brooklyn in December, alleging they were misled by the 8:30 p.m. advertised start time. They also sued Barclays Center and Live Nation for wonton exercise. I always thought that was shout out to the Chinese, but I always thought wonton exercise or false advertising. I'm like, wonton, I thought that was just a suit. But anyway, And it said negligent misrepresentation and unfair and deceptive trade practices. The plaintiffs argued they wouldn't have purchased tickets if they known the concert was going to start at 10:30. They also claimed the show's end time of about 1 a.m. possibly inconvenienced or injured concert goers as a result of limited transportation options and being forced to stay up later than planned. What do you got? One foot in the fucking grave? He's about, I had to stay up past my bedtime. How dare you go on at 10:30? I'm getting sleepy. Why are you keeping me up this late? I gotta go to bed and get my 8 hours of beauty sleep. Remember when Mariah Carey had to read J-Lo down to the ground? When there was somebody, well, Jennifer Lopez said that she that she was able to do this, this, and this. And Mariah was like, well, if all I had to do was, if I didn't, if I really was given the bare minimum, I'm paraphrasing. If I basically gave the bare minimum when it came to my career, I'd get 8 hours of sleep too, because, Mariah actually sings her songs. She writes everything that she does, and she's in the studio producing. She's not just going to walk up in there and be like, okay, what's my mark? What do I need to add? Y'all pretty much put in all the trickery and the trinkets and all the other stuff, and I could just, show up, lay down the vocals, and walk out. Mariah ain't doing everything. So what the hell you talking about? What is this like? This is just a cackle to me. We're just like, oh, I wouldn't have purchased tickets if I would have known that it was going to start at 10:30. And then it said that her lawyers argued that concerts really start on time, and that hers in particular are well known for their late starts. They also pointed out that Haddon posted on Facebook the day after the concert that he had never missed a Madonna tour, and that he later told CNN he had been to every Madonna tour since 1985, making it clear the late start time couldn't have come as a surprise. According to the court documents, Hayden also praised the show on Facebook, calling it incredible as always. And what I find funny, Chad, is that how you mad? I don't get it. This is a cackle because I'm just sitting there, but wait a minute. Now, if you knew the whole time that Madonna was going to be late, knowing full on well that you slipped and you told on yourself by saying, oh, well, I've been to every Madonna show, so then you are aware that she's late because she's late at every damn tour she's done. If I can remember that far back, I think she was late coming on for Confessions. Sidebar, if you're going to get this mad over her, there do be a lot of artists that come on late. Now, there have been shows that I've worked where they've been on time. Even Olivia Rodrigo came on late. Like, we were told she was going to start her show around 8:25. She came on maybe like 4 or 5 minutes later than her expected time. But for the most part, it wasn't the time that, give or take, she was a couple of minutes late. That's fine. Nicki Minaj during her Pink Friday 2 tour, I told y'all she came on late. I told some people was like, asked me what time is she expected to come on. She was supposed to come on around 9, I believe 9:20, 9:25. She didn't come on until about 9, like close to 10 o'clock. And there were people that were leaving because it was getting late. And yeah, when it comes to public transportation and stuff, be it Long Island Railroad or New Jersey Transit, even regular transit, like the MTA, I'm talking New York. The trains be few and far between. Now, I know it's probably worse for Long Island Railroad and the New Jersey Transit, where the trains stop running at a certain time. And yeah, there is that issue. But this is why when it comes to concerts, whatever the case is, like I've always known this, is that when you go to a concert, that's a special night out for a lot of people, because people out here working, people out here trying to, make ends meet, pay their bills. They're going through a lot of hardships and stuff. So when you go to a concert, that is the one night where it's just like, I want to just let my hair down. I want to have a good time. I want to get into the music. I want to sing every song. I want to have my drinks, which I told y'all I got lit when I went to the Madonna concert. So, and then the next day, actually I did work the next day, but I was going in later. So I was like, it's enough time for me to rest, get some sleep. I didn't have to be in until later that day. So I was good. But for the most part, with a lot of people, I'm like, if you can, plan accordingly. Take a day off. Now you're trying to squeeze money out of somebody because you mad over this situation. So I guess, and then if this actually passes, this leaves a Pandora's box open for a lot of artists for them to have to deal with this. So, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a fan of Madonna, because I will call anybody out. I don't care who it is, but I just feel like this whole situation is a bunch of bullshit. And if you went, and this is another thing too, I tell y'all, when y'all leave stuff, when y'all put stuff on social media, you don't think Madonna gonna have her lawyers dig and stuff? She got the coins to do that. So when you put stuff out there, like, oh, it was an amazing concert and all this other stuff, you pretty much are gonna look like the fool, and you wasting your own money trying to take her to court for coming on late. That's just dumb to me. But whatever, girl. They said wonton also means deliberate and or unprovoked. Being messy. I was like, oh, I thought it was just about Chinese food. It said, it said, remember R. Kelly? Oh yeah, from what you said, remember R. Kelly brother say he was about to, and a lot of people, when things happen to them, instead of them getting therapy, and so even though therapy is frowned upon in the Black community, a lot of people hurt people. So you pass it down instead of getting the help that you need to nip it in the bud. So I truly believe that not only R. Kelly, had to deal with some. I think Diddy got touched down, in his frontal and no area back in the day when he was younger. So it's an ex attack Madonna for her statements, etc., saying they're out of touch. Okay, whatever. Now there are some celebrities that's out of touch, but she's pretty much a rock star. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna come on whenever I want, and if I gotta pay the penalty, I mean, first of all, she's paying. If she goes on late or whatever, she is paying the penalty. If if the show carries on later than the time that the people that work at the arena are scheduled for, I don't know if I should tell y'all this, but we get overtime if the later the celebrities stay on stage. So I don't be mad when they be staying on a little too late. I'll be like, I'll just pay an Uber to get my ass home. Someone said, Robert, didn't you say they were Trump supporters? I think he did say something another that they were Trump supporters. I did read that already. You learn something new every day, because I don't be looking at. Now I do know big words, but I didn't know that about Miss Wonton. That it meant deliberate and or unprovoked. So I've noticed that Madonna starts later and later each tour. Reinvention was on by 9:30. Confessions, she came out around the same time. Sticky and Sweet was like 10:30. MDNA, she came out 11:15. Sidebar, I've been getting a lot of, because I've been told on Madonna, I've been getting a lot of alerts with her concerts, even the Reinvention tour. I don't know how they got their hands on that. All them videos is up on YouTube, but I've been revisiting it. Madam X was 11:30. Why would she torture her fans with that? It's like, why would she do that? Because I watched that tour, I was like, that was a tough one to get through. But 11:30 that's ridiculous. Not for the music that was on that record. And so my friend said she wasn't. Oh wait, so yeah, if she's and you have to also realize, like, touring takes its toll not only on your instrument, which is your voice, but your body as well, because you're doing a lot of traveling from city to city and country to country. And it's like you have to have vocal rest, you got to give your body rest. There's a lot of these things that you have to deal with. So there's a lot of that goes into that. It's like your body is your instrument. And I can understand, like, if she's not feeling well. And it said, like, she complained about the AC a few times and she got pissed off a couple of times. Oh damn, you got shady Madonna that night. I'm glad I got Madonna in a good mood when she came to New York. All right, so let's get into Kimora Lee and them. So now, I was ready to go in on Russell and Kimora. I was talking about, see, now we got Aoki out here following her mama and her daddy footsteps. Because remember, when Kimora and Russell got together, he was 18 years older than her when she got with him. So she was like, she was a teenager. Yeah, he's out here messing. Was she underage when they got together? I wouldn't be surprised. But anyway, I was ready to go in on Kimora, and I was like, okay, what's going on? How your daughter out here hunching a businessman, Vittorio Assaf? I said, Vittorio. I was feeling a little Italian right there. So Vittorio Assaf, or Assaf. We'll go with Assaf. He's 65 and Aoki is 21. And first of all, his whole situation is messy too. We gonna get into that, because his whole relationship situation, he ain't no angel in this either. So we gonna talk about that, because y'all gonna gag if you don't know the story. So I was like, okay, Kimora, what's good? Russell was good. Like, come get your daughter because she out here being messy. So Kimora has spoken out, and she went on IG in her stories on late Friday night and shared a video of a mother panda bear furiously gripping onto her cub with her mouth and running to a platform. The mom did not try to be gentle as she hurriedly flipped her cub over a wooden railing while the cub helplessly dangled through the process. And she wrote over the clip, "On my last nerve right now." So she mad at her, and it was written in, it says at the bottom is written in Korean with like a water emoji. Let me see if I can show y'all the thing real quick before we move on. So that way y'all can see that. So yeah, this is the picture and stuff right here that I want to show. So yeah, this is the picture of her with the whole situation. So anyway, so she put, so now reps for the baby fat owner did not immediately respond to page 6's request for comment. Now Aoki's father, Russell Simmons, sent her unconditional love Saturday when he shared an IG reel of the pair smiling together, saying, "Throwback from my last Father's Day NYC Bodh Bikram Yoga Express class. Vegan lunch, cryotherapy, vitamin drip, all around amazing day." He penned alongside the post at Aoki Lee Simmons, "Love you always. I'm always waiting for any call anytime." Now, Aoki, who is one of the 5 kids Kimora has from 3. Y'all are so messy. Page 6, they had to point out that she got 5 kids from 3 different damn men. And it said that Assaf were enjoying a romantic vacation in St. Bart's with the photos of them locking lips were snapped. In addition to kissing, the pair swam in a stunning aqua water together. And the Serafina Restaurant Group co-founder even snapped some thirst traps of his much younger love interest. The model shared pictures from the Caribbean vacation on her IG, but did not include Assaf. In the slideshow she shared Friday, Aoki rocked a multicolored bikini as she posed against a large rock, and the caption, the post, "Girls, possibly mermaids on film." So she out here being a mess. And child, let me tell you about Mr. Assaf. So he was married to model Charlotte Bonstrom, but in 2021, she left him for her twin sister's ex-husband, Terry Gillier. The restaurateur was then linked to 24-year-old model Naya Gatbell. I think it's her name. Yeah, so child, this shit is a mess. And I'm sitting up in here like, I understand that Aoki is grown. She's 21. But here was another thing. And shout out to a friend of mine that I shared. I wound up sharing it on my Facebook. But my friend Stephen Royster, he posted this video. And I didn't even know about this. I think it was like a FaceTime video of Russell talking with Aoki. And Aoki makes a joke in between eating a bowl of cereal, because I'm assuming that's what was in that bowl. She was like, "If you don't," I don't remember exactly what the word was, but I guess she was like, in so many words, "If you don't increase my allowance, I'm getting me a sugar daddy." And Russell was like, "What you say to me?" And she's like, "I'm kidding, I'm kidding." I'm like, "Bitch, you wasn't kidding." Because truth is always said it's a damn jokes. That's what I always say. So Aoki is 21 years old, out here messing with an older man. And look, if that's what you want to get out the relationship, then you want to be out here messing with some older man knowing full and well you don't love him, but you love his coin. And he's riding, whining and dining you and taking you from point A to point B, and you living a lavish life, you do other stuff. If that's what you want to do, sis, then by all means, go ahead and do it. But all I'm going to say on it is, if you like it, I love it. And y'all know what that means when somebody say, if you like it, I love it. I'm not judging, but I'm judging. Okay, so now let's move on and look at some of these comments. So she did say last night was the 71st show. She only had about 10 shows left. Yeah, now I feel like she's getting in a better mood, because you always know that in the beginning, she said in the beginning, like they're working out the kinks of the show. The halfway point is just sort of like you're dragging your feet. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to get through this shit. Now it's like, okay, I have a couple more days. Once you're getting to the finish line and you see it, then you're feeling a whole lot better. It's like, thank God we're finally at it's the light at the end of the tunnel. I see it. Now I can get excited. Child, that's a mess. I was reading Sailor Mermaid's comment before I clicked on it. Kimora was a sophomore in high school when Russell pursued her. Which means what? He was So that was 20 years, and she was a teenager. I'm assuming sophomore high school is what, 15, 16? No, 17. No, 18 is when you graduate, right? Something like between 14 and 15 years old had to be her age. And Russell was in his 30s. You nasty little. So he was in his 30s pursuing a damn teenager. You nasty mother flower. Anyway, so it said when Madonna was in her rant about the AC, she made it clear she wasn't mad at us fans, but it made me think of my I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the dirt. Oh, I love saying that damn line. But I can imagine it's like, yeah, she's not mad at the fans. It's just you get frustrated because you want things to go your way, especially when you want things to be technically perfect. And to be honest, I love the fact that she's kind of been more relaxed and she's not letting the little things bother her. But I realize like sometimes we get in our moods and it's just like when you're supposed to be handling certain things and you paying the crew and all this other stuff to do what needs to be done. And you can't necessarily blame the crew. That's more or less on the arena because the arena is in charge of the AC and all that other stuff. They ain't got nothing to do with the crew. The crew is that works for her is supposed to make sure everything goes according to with the show. Now, I remember you did say something right that the show there was some technical issues and stuff was happening. That could also be either with her stuff not working well or whatever, or there could have been issues with the arena as well. So it could have been a two-way situation. So someone said there were sound issues, but I didn't notice anything. Well, you know, a lot of times artists are going to notice the things that we're not going to pick up on, especially when you know the show inside and out. So further proof that people going to people no matter the tax break. And so there's always a little nugget of truth. And, I don't know. I always say that. I always say there's always some truth and some jokes. That has always been my motto. I'm gonna go to okay, so let's talk. We got two Drake Bell stories that we're gonna get to. So one, we're gonna talk about the situation about remember when he got in trouble over the whole underage girl thing, and he kind of just he talked about it briefly in the Quiet on Set docu-series, which I believe part 5 is on tonight, right? So he's opening up a little bit more about the abuse allegations regarding the teenage girl levied against him in 2021. So the Drake and Josh star, who recently shared the story of the sexual abuse he survived from Nickelodeon dialogue coach Brian Peck in Quiet on Set, um, pleaded guilty in 2021 to a federal charge of attempted child endangerment and a misdemeanor charge of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles, both in relation, to inappropriate text messages he sent to a teenager in 2017 in an appearance on the Not Skinny But Not Fat podcast. Child, y'all be coming up with these titles. Bell attempted to set the record straight about the incident. Now, on the podcast, Bell insisted that he only sent text messages. That don't make it right, though, sir. I responded on some DMs and was incredibly irresponsible and got myself into conversations that I shouldn't have had. And I ended up finding out that I was talking to someone that I shouldn't have been talking to. And it snowballed into these allegations that were not true. And it just turned into this big thing. This is what he said. I was being investigated, and that was really difficult on my family. And thankfully, through 18 months of subpoenaing my social media and computers and witnesses and everything, it turned out a lot of what was being accused of me was not true. Bell went on to discuss that he pleaded guilty to the felony and misdemeanor charges, saying, I did have these conversations and I took responsibility for that and ended up pleading guilty because I just financially was just devastated and I just had a son and I didn't want to put my family through all this anymore. So I ended up going through the process the way that I did and, very regretful. There's just so much that I've had to deal with, and through that, not having the tools, not knowing how to process things, I made a lot of decisions in my life that shouldn't have made and hurt a lot of people, which means from the situation was going on with the abuse and stuff, he was basically saying that, you know what? I didn't know how to process a lot of things that I was going through, so I made a lot of decisions that I shouldn't have made, and it ended up hurting a lot of people, including the mother of his child. So I totally get a lot of that, and I think also that comes into play. Should we bring Michael Jackson into this conversation? Because with the stuff that's going on with James Safechuck and Wade Robson trying to subpoena Michael's dick pics, because that's what they're trying to get. They're trying to get them news. Remember back in the day when Michael Jackson had to do that, and I still remember this to this day, when he did that press conference that was broadcast all over TV, he was like, they took pictures of my penis? I remember him saying, I don't know why I'm laughing, but I remember him saying that, and just the way he said penis, it just made me cackle back in the day. to this day, because it was like they wound up taking, they got news of Michael Jackson out there where it was like, because the kids made these accusations that Michael molested them, and they said that there was ways that it could be easily identifiable of his nudes and all that other stuff. So it kind of makes it like, well, I'm thinking, is that one of the reasons also that, a lot of times people who aren't guilty of certain situations, when they technically do things that are wrong, they don't want to put people through things. They don't want to have to be dragging things through court forever and having to pay so much money out of out of their ass. So they just plead guilty to certain things. Even though I don't think Michael Jackson's ever pled guilty to any crimes, but he paid people to like leave him alone, which in a way makes you look guilty. I'd be like, we gonna drag this out in court because you're not gonna sit up in here and try to accuse me of some shit I did. So I feel like we got what we need to get from him. But he also I should finish by saying he gave more information about the situation, because I want to give y'all all the information so that we can move on from it and people not out here accusing people of things they're not accused of. He said he finally found out her age and he cut communications, and I think she got upset, and she was coming to concerts still, and I was doing everything I could to kind of keep my distance. Then she made all these allegations of things that happened at the concert, but throughout the investigation there were witnesses who were there the whole time who refuted it. People who weren't even connected with me, that were friends of hers and her family, that were there the whole time. And so no, and a lot of the things that she said about sending inappropriate pictures and things like this, it was able to be investigated and show that none of that existed. So, and a lot of times, I know we're supposed to believe the victims and stuff, but I feel like this should be a case-by-case situation, because sometimes some of these accusers out here, y'all be, you look for this love and stuff that you're not getting at home or whatever the case is, or you've been abused or whatever your situation is. And a lot of times people look at these celebrities to be their friend or to be whatever, they lover, whatever you want to call it. And when the feelings aren't reciprocated, then they want to come out with these acts and say, oh, so-and-so molested me. Oh, so-and-so said these things. And when you go up in there saying these things, one thing can look one way, but then this is what really happened. And the good thing is it was investigated, it was refuted. And even though he did, all this stuff is in print, with the courts, now we know what the tea is, according to what he's saying. So if it was refuted, then that's what it is. But it says that he was given in a child endangerment case. He was given probation and community service, but was not required to register as an offender. So he's not on the registry like Kenneth Petty. He's not a part of the registry or whatever the case is. Why he had to catch that straight, right? But so there's that. So shout out to Drake. And I saw, sidebar, I did see that what the hell's his name? Kyle Massey brother did a podcast. He appeared on Raven-Symoné podcast with her wife, and he was up in there talking about the whole thing with the docuseries. I said, child, first of all, get off my line, because you're a woman beater. Your brother sending dick pics and stuff to underage girls. Kyle Massey, both y'all fat sloppy bastards. I don't know why she would bring them on her damn show to try to make sense or whatever. And then Raven trying to make shit about her. So, but oh yeah, just like me being gay was gonna ruin your kids and stuff too. I said, girl, if you don't sit your ass down, like I be liking Raven, but sometimes I be want to knock her upside her damn head too. But anyway, speaking of Drake, and then I'm gonna get to the comments. He also said that he forgives Ryder Strong after the fact, when he wrote that letter supporting Brian Peck, the former Nickelodeon dialogue coach who SA'd him. Now it says Strong, who became close friends with dialogue coach Brian Peck after meeting on Boy Meets World, was one of the many actors who wrote a letter in defense of Peck's character when Bell accused him of SA in 2003. Now, at the time, the victim of the assault was listed as John Doe, but Bell came forward revealing it was him in ID's Quiet on Set, The Dark Side of Kids TV. At the time, Peck pleaded no contest to 2 charges of child SA and was sentenced to 16 months in prison. He should have been in there longer than that, and had to register as an S offender. Now, more than 20 years later, Bell and Strong have connected, saying I just had the most amazing conversation with @Ryder Strong. We are all healing together. I have nothing but love and forgiveness for him. Bell posted on X on Friday. Well, chat is Twitter. Because I don't understand how you call and you change everything to X except but when I type in twitter.com, it still comes up as Twitter. But anyway, so it said the tweet comes less than a month after Drake and Josh Star called out Strong via social media, saying Ryder was 24 years old when he wrote the letter and was told by Brian what he did. He wrote an assist deleted comment via Instagram. He wrote the letter anyway. And that was back when, Ryder and Wilfred Friedle spoke out on their Pod Meets World podcast about their experience with Peck, saying that they were they were duped into believing that he didn't do what he did, and they wrote these letters and all this other stuff because I think they knew this docu-series was coming. They got warned, and they was like, you know what, let's get ahead of it before we get dragged into this situation, and now we're gonna be out here looking like Boo Boo the Fool. So we need to get ahead of it, and that's when, Drake Bell was like, first of all, y'all was old enough to know better, but you still sided with him. And I feel like, you know what? Unfortunately, we are a product of our time because back in the 90s and the 2000s and even beyond, it's up until the Me Too movement, we were all trained and to believe to kind of sit down, shut up, look ahead, look down, don't address the situation. If you see abuse and stuff happening, you suck it up, you deal with it. That's just how we dealt with things. So whenever people would talk down to you a certain way or do things, or they said you had to do something, you did it because that was the generation. That's what we were taught to believe. Even me down in certain situations. Now I've come to a point where it's like, oh no, hell no, because I had to tell somebody yesterday. I said, don't tell me what to do. First of all, you're not my boss. Go over there. You need to do what you need to do. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about me. I know what I'm doing. Don't tell me what I need to do. You need to do what you need to do. So now it comes to a point that the older you get, the more you feel like you have a wherewithal to stand up for yourself. And people should. So now it's like all this new generation people that's coming being like, oh, well, yeah, I'm not doing that job because they're not paying a certain amount. You're not going to work me like no slave for no minimum wage. Or you have a lot of these kids saying they won't do certain things. They won't go to certain places. They won't do all this other stuff. Back in the day, we just sucked it up and dealt with it, which is why you see like this culture clash when you get a lot of the Gen Zers and the Gen Alphas and those other people saying like, not Gen Alphas, Gen Alphas is younger. Not Gen Zers either. We'll go Generation X and we'll go with the millennials. Those are the ones I was trying to go for. Where it's just sort of like there's this culture war where they kind of go with like, we just did what we need to do to get to the place we need to get. So we know, like, okay, we just keep going, or we just don't look over there and deal with the bullshit. We just put it behind us and just push through a little harder. We'll get to where we need to get. And we ain't got to deal with it no more. Which is probably why Ariana Grande still ain't said nothing. Because it's like, you know what? I made it. I don't got to deal with them fools over there at Nickelodeon no more. I'm a big pop star. I'm bigger than the majority of the bitches that came out of that damn show. So, or that channel. So I don't need to deal with them people over there no more because I've already made it and I'm already dealing with the things that I'm dealing with. I'm a big superstar. But I am here for those who are speaking out and speaking their truth. So shout out to them. And I'm glad that him and Ryder are healing and they're working it out. So people, y'all can stop trolling people online. I do wonder if he's spoken to Will Friedle, if they plan on patching things up. But look, one day at a time, right? That's what we can do. Okay, so let's get to some of these comments and then we'll keep pushing through with the show. So I think the arena was just trying to keep people from passing. Well, yeah, because here's the thing. At times, because like I told you, when I did the Olivia Rodrigo concert, because that's the recent one that I can remember, because I can't remember how it was. The first night, I tell you, I'm like, it is freezing in here. Like the AC was pumping. Then at one point they turned it off and it got hot, and then they had to turn it on again. Because I was like, because normally when we do Ranger games, we got to keep it freezing in there. Like the AC is really cold because there's ice on the ground, and you got to keep that ice from melting. So it was cold during the first night of the Olivia Rodrigo concert. Then at one point they turned on. I'm like, okay, it's hot. Y'all didn't turn that AC back on, and they did. And look, Olivia Rodrigo wasn't complaining about her vocals. Her vocals was on point, and Miss Mamas was singing. So I don't understand. Like, I get it, Madonna, or whatever, but bitch, first of all, I don't know if you're still going through menopause, but you're not going to have it 110 degrees up in here the whole time. Because I'm going to tell you, I don't know if she knew, but that AC was on when I was at the garden. I felt it. It says, so the next episode of oh yeah, it is on tonight. Thank you for letting me know, because I was like, yeah, part 5 has to be on tonight. Drake Bell must have had John Mulaney's Let's move on. You with the shade that you be throwing up in here. Anyway, speaking of SAs, let's get into Reacher star Alan Ritchson. Now, here's the thing. I love me some Alan Ritchson. Alan Ritchson. I have been following his career since, and he's been around for a long time. Like, I watched him on Blue Mountain State, but before that, I like, and I heard they're trying to bring that show back. Like, they're rebooting it or whatever, and they'll probably be, obviously they have to be older. I don't know if Alan Ritchson is. I know he's probably working behind the scenes. I don't know if he's going to star in it. He might, because I don't think you should just sit around and just do Reacher and not work. Like, you could do multiple shows and movies a year. It's possible. Many famous people do it. But anyway, I love him on Reacher. First 2 seasons. If you guys haven't seen it on um Amazon Prime Video, definitely check it out. It's a great show. I hope he plays the character. First of all, I think he's a better Reacher than Tom Cruise. But I've followed his career ever since he played Aquaman on Smallville. That's how far back I go with Alan Ritchson. But anyway, he's opening up about an assault that happened during his modeling days. Now, hold on. Let me pull this picture up, because I'll tell you, this man is fine as hell. And all that muscle. I used to think he was gay, too, but he's married with children. Not that that means anything, because, there's a lot of people out here married with children that still be hunching men behind the scene. I'm not saying that about him, but I'm just saying. So he opened up about being SA during a photo shoot, an incident in which led him to quitting the modeling industry altogether. He said, I hung myself. This is what oh, he also appeared on Black Mirror. I didn't even know that. Maybe because I don't be watching Black Mirror like that. Like, every now and again, I'll pop in and I'll watch episodes. But I don't think I've ever watched a full season, because I always be forgetting after a while to be watching like full season of Black Mirror. Because sometimes sometimes I feel like that show gets way too intellectual even for me. And I'm an intellectual guy, but I'm like, if I could sit here and do homework every time I watch the show. But anyway, so it said his attempt took place in the attic of his Encino, California home with a green extension cord. Well, goddamn, he was making sure that shit wasn't going to break. It all happened so fast, and I was just dangling there. However, Ritchson made a last-minute decision to pull himself up before he blacked out after he saw a vision of his sons, Callum, who's 11, Aiden, who's 10, and Amory, who's 8, in their mid-30s. He said they calmly asked me not to do it and told me that they wanted me to be here alive and part of their lives, he noted. He shared his sons with his wife of nearly 20 years, Catherine Ritchson. Ritchson, who was 41, said he sought help immediately after the alarming incident, which led to his bipolar diagnosis at 36. A few years later, at the age of 40, he learned he had been living with ADHD as well. His suicide attempt came after years of SA that multiple, it said not even just one, it says assaults that followed him from the modeling industry into the acting world and broke him, he explained to THR. He said there are very few redeeming qualities to working in the modeling industry. Let's be honest, it's like a legalized S trafficking. The industry is not regulated, and it's a widely known secret that if you're hired on a job, you're basically being passed on to a photographer to be trafficked. The number of times in situations where I was put in horrific environments where S abuse was the goal and the paycheck that you were desperate for in order to survive was the carrot. I can't count on 2 hands. It was quite often. One alleged incident led to the father of 3 to quit the modeling world forever. As someone, so it said that, I think what he had said was, because I don't think I had the incident that happened, but I remember it because I read the article. Basically, what he said that happened was that he was sent to a photo shoot by an agent, and the agent was aware that this photographer, photographer's reputation, he didn't mention who it was. I wish he would have, but he didn't. He said he went in, and a situation happened. He left the shoot, went to the agent, was like, "Why did you do that? Why did you put me in a situation knowing full and well what this guy was capable of?" And then the agent was smirking, was just like, "Oh yeah, he could be a tad bit aggressive at times." So it's like, you knew. And a lot of times these agents are aware of the reputation a lot of these people have, but they don't care as long as they get their percentage. they will look the other way. And a lot of times, these agents are supposed to have your back and protect you. All they care about is the bottom line, and that's that Benjamin Franklin that they're going to get in their account, them stacks of it. So there is a lot of essays that go on in the industry. I remember at one point I was even considering getting into modeling and all other stuff, and it was just like, first of all, male modeling and stuff is not something that lasts forever. That's more of a woman's game. And I do believe that a lot of trafficking goes on, a lot of abuse, a lot of drug abuse, a lot of crazy stuff that happens in that. And look, unfortunately, not unfortunately, but it's just like, you know what? Alan is a good looking guy. He's very tall, very attractive. And it's sad that someone like him, who's probably from some old corn fed town, would have to endure this and go through this and be abused by them no good ass people in the industry. And like I said, I follow his career since he played Aquaman on Smallville. It just guts me that somebody like him or just anybody has to go through this type of stuff. And I love the fact that, he's been in the industry for a long time, like 20 years. And the fact of the matter is his career is finally taking off. I say it's about damn time. I know that he recently did an interview, I think also with the Hollywood Reporter or something or another, where he was like, he wants to play Batman. He said, yeah, I said it. I want to play Batman. And I think he'd make a great Batman and Bruce Wayne, because if you watch one of the episodes of Reacher where he has to wear a suit, I think it was season 2, but that was also the episode where they had that really cool fight sequence with him and his team with the bikers. I love that fight sequence. I was like, he was fucking everybody up, breaking legs and everything. I told her I like stuff like that. But I was like, okay, I could see it. He could put like the Bruce Wayne thing and the Batman thing. Like, he's definitely got the jawline. Like, he's really tall, muscular. I really feel like he could play the role. Look, y'all pick Ben Affleck. And Ben Affleck, I actually liked him in the Batman role. We could pick Alan Ritchson. Why not? They looking for a Batman to play, and for the Brave and the Bold, I say put him in there. And maybe, I don't know, but should I even go on a limb and say, maybe, what if he's already been cast to play Batman by James Gunn? And he's kind of just like, I know I got the role, and just kind of just putting it out there, but like, yeah, I'm down for playing the role. Because I'm sure James Gunn already got a lot of his cast. Look, they already got the director for Supergirl already set. So if they do pick him, I wouldn't be mad, because I actually like Alan Ritchson. Like I said, I feel like he's a good actor. He's really good at doing action and all that stuff. So I'm here for it. All right, so let's look at the comments. So, breaking news, Beyonce tops Cowboy Carter, her 8th album to do it, plus tops country albums chart, first time for a Black woman in the history of the country albums chart. And another thing that I love is the fact that with Beyonce doing this is similar to, like I said, whenever it comes to mainstream artists who take creative risks with their music career, similar to Madonna, when she was at her prime, because Madonna hasn't given us new music lately. So what is about in her prime, when she did music, when she did The Ray of Light, when she did Confessions, when she was doing all of that before she started following the trends, when she was setting it, we'll stick to that. When she was setting the trends, this was the same thing that happened. Like, when Madonna did music, she had everybody, including myself, wearing a cowboy hat, cowboy boots. And like I told you, I had like the muscle shirt, which had like little safety pins in it, like similar to her Kylie Minogue t-shirt that she wore. I had a shirt similar, but I had one with like it was like a Superman shirt that I had designed like that. I bought it on 8th Avenue, I remember. No, not 8th Avenue, 8th Street. That was over there by Patricia Field, all them other stores back in the day in what was it, in the West Village. So I say all that to say is like, yeah, when she's doing all of this, what the point I'm trying to get to is that when Beyonce is doing like this with the country music, she is shining a light on a lot of lesser known Black country music acts, because their careers are skyrocketing as well. Now, I love the fact that it's getting more people to broaden their horizons, to open their eyes to listening to different genres of music. So shout out to her. I love that she's doing this, and congratulations to her on that. Breaking news. Okay, child, let's get into this Latasha Scott story, because, girl, she is a hot ass mess. So Latasha Scott, that troll that used to be a part of Xscape, I can't stand her, and I can't stand her damn husband. But let's be neutral when we talk about this story. Even though I'm throwing shade before we get neutral. Maybe I'm trying to just get out my system before we get to it. So apparently it's saying that she's taking legal action against TV producer Mona Scott Young and Live Nation over the group's forthcoming tour with SWV. Now, last month, Mona Scott Young announced that Xscape, including Latasha Scott, excluding, because I was like, wait a minute, I didn't see her in the pictures in the promo, excluding Latasha, would be hitting the road for a nationwide tour alongside SWV, who I used to call Swooth, instead of saying their initials. However, Latasha is not going down without a fight. Well, girl, but whatever money you got, you better scrape it together, because I heard some tea, and I'm about to bring it in a second. It said, according to a report from Straight from the A, Latasha, through her attorney, Leron E. Rogers, is alleging that Live Nation and Mona Scott Young's Mona Me Entertainment Group are infringing upon her rights as one half of the trademark owner of the Xscape brand. The letter sent by Latasha's attorney states that she was blindsided by the news of Xscape signing a contract for a tour without her consent. It further accuses Live Nation and Mona Me Entertainment of publicly advertising the Xscape brand for the tour without Latasha's approval for discussion of financial terms. The letter also implicates that Mona Scott Young, alleging that she was well aware of the trademark situation and intentionally chose to interfere with Latasha's rights. Given Scott Young's past involvement as Xscape's management, Latasha feels that the oversight was deliberate. Latasha's attorney has demanded that Mona Scott Young / Mona Me Entertainment and Live Nation contact them within 5 days to secure the proper licensing for the use of the Xscape trademark. The trademark was secured by Latasha and her sister Tamika during a period when Candy Burris was not planning to rejoin the group. Throughout the drama, Latasha has maintained that her intention was never to leave Xscape permanently, but rather to take a break to pursue her interests. In addition to the legal action against Mona Scott Young and Mona Me Entertainment, Latasha has also sent similar letters to Live Nation. Child, she does not have a case here, because I don't know if y'all watch Funky Dineva's show, but Miss Mama spilled some tea. And if y'all didn't see it, I'm going to bring it here. So apparently, word on the street is Latasha doesn't even have trademark rights. That apparently she never paid the money. That when it was time to renew, she didn't pay it. That when she did that video on Instagram or whatever the case was, when she was setting the record straight or speaking on it or whatever, because what's her name? Candy has a show called Speak On It, where she always talking about stuff that happened with the housewives or any other thing that she's a part of. She uses that as her place to speak on a lot of issues that's going on and clearing the air. So she decided to do that. So apparently, when she was supposed to be on that gospel tour, because I think she's trying to put out that solo album, they said that the bus that she had, that she filmed everything on, and 2 days afterwards, the bus was repossessed because her and Rocky and them didn't have the money to pay to keep the bus in motion. So Miss Mamas is out here broke. He also reveals some tea that, and I said this from the beginning when I watched that SWV and Xscape reality show, that when Tamika's money got stolen allegedly by Latasha and her husband, that 30 grand or whatever it came to, they said it was a whole lot more, that Tiny's mother said that they was all supposed to get, and Tamika said she never got it, that her sister took it and she owed that money. So word on the street, they said that the mother had something to do with it, which is why when we watched the reality show, the mother was co-signing with Latasha and them versus her own daughter. And I said I wouldn't be surprised if the mother was in on it, that the mother took the money and had something to do with it. She got a piece of the pie. I don't know why y'all surprised. We didn't need that tea to be spilled. I kind of got that from watching the episode. Like, I always say the truth. If you really pay attention to people's body language and certain things and the way they react in certain situations, you find out the tea about that. So if Mona can prove when it comes to the trademark, if Tamika could pull up the receipts and show that she's been the only one that has paid money on the trademark and Latasha has never put up any money, then she should have a right. Then you have no rights in this case. Then you pretty much lost. You can't try to clamor and grab onto something that you have no ownership of if you didn't go and put up money for the trademark, if you both aren't co-trademark owners. So I'll definitely keep my eye on the story as it further develops, and we'll see if the intel that Funky Dineva got talking about this turns out to be true, that the insiders that called him up and told him the tea will be able to corroborate and say like, okay, so they was right that she don't have ownership over the thing. But if that's what Tamika heard, Tamika, you better. I hope you listening, you paying attention, and when if your sister trifling ass decided to take you to court, because I'm sure she need money. Like nobody bought that gospel album that she listened to. I don't even know if she was out here touring on her solo stuff. People didn't want to hear it. That's why a lot of you girls out here that's a part of groups be swearing up and down that y'all got that Beyonce X Factor. And I know people hate that I always got to bring up Beyonce because she's the perfect example of someone who was a part of a group that went out there and was able to excel as a solo star, as a solo artist. And Latasha is not that girl. It's like pretty voice, but that attitude and the way her husband be trying to that be sabotaging her career, even though you be trying to sabotage everybody else, but these other girls out here is thriving between SWV and Xscape. And it's funny how is it that with everything that went on with the reality show, right? That the girls are able to come together and do a joint tour where they co-headlining without there being an issue. So it makes me wonder, Latasha was the problem, which I knew from the beginning. Latasha and Rocky was starting a mess, trying to pit the girls against each other, trying to start this whole rift and everything. But I'm like, how is it that they were able to come together and make this whole show work without her being there? So the one that's not there, clearly you the problem. All right, so let's get into our next topic and talk about GloRilla, who apparently wants Cardi B and Nicki Minaj to call a truce. Now, GloRilla released her new mixtape called Everything. You gotta say it like how she wrote it. It came out on Friday at midnight, April 5th, and the 12-track offering clocks in at just over 30 minutes. Well, try in that every damn album these days, they all a half an hour at length, which means each song is probably like a minute and a half or under 3 minutes. But anyway, it includes features from Moneybagg Yo, Finesse 2X, and Boston Richie, among others. The members' breakout star lit up the streets with the lead single, Yeah Glow, before teasing her collab with Megan Thee Stallion. The duo shared a teaser for the single earlier this month, and the video dropped on Friday at midday, which basically showed them twerking and stuff, which at this point, I'm tired of that kind of rap. I'm tired of girls always talking about they pussy. I'm tired of women always talking about they booty or want to get their coochie scratched or twerking. Like, can y'all give us a little something different? But anyway, so on this song called I, GloRilla shared her desire for female rappers to end their feuds, urging Nicki Minaj and Cardi B to call a truce, saying, I just pray for the day the bad bees will come together, she raps, because Cardi and Nicki on a track will break some effing records. That don't rhyme. But whatever. Glow also addresses the tension with her former collaborator, City Girls rapper JT, stated, me and JT ain't the best of friends, but we ain't beefing. The pair were rumored to have an altercation at the 2023 MTV VMA. Wasn't it the whole situation where it happened with, I thought it was, oh, no, I'm thinking of something else. Because remember when JT smacked, what was it? The Uzi Vert? Is that who she was dating? Because he was looking at, because it was a whole thing with Ice Spice. I'm thinking of two different situations. But anyway, so the pair was rumored to have an altercation at the VMAs last year. Will say many speculated the tension arose from Glow and Cardi's Tomorrow 2 collab, which some believe includes subliminal shots at JT and Nicki Minaj. Look, here's what I'll say on this. I really hope that they end this beef because one of the things I understand beefs make the world go round. It keeps the momentum going in regards of like hip hop and its entertainment and all this other stuff. But we know how Nicki is and Cardi. They're very stubborn. I feel like they have way more in common than they realize. And we're not talking about musicality and stuff, but their aesthetic in a lot of situations, their difference with them both being with no good ass men. Cardi with Offset and Nicki with Kenneth. So I feel like, and they got similar bodies too, like the way they fit, small waist, big ass, big titties. Shout out to their surgeons. They're both pretty girls, and I feel like, you know what? It's entertainment, I guess, when it comes to females rap fighting and all this other stuff. But I just feel like they're both successful women. There's enough food, there's enough out here for these girls to be successful and eat. I feel like it would have been cool to have Cardi B and Nicki Minaj on a joint tour or something. Like, that would be epic. To have both fandoms come together, the Barty Gang and the Barbs, to be in one room together and just living in perfect harmony, enjoying each other's music without all this back and forth, because that's what it seems like. Y'all pretty much got the same kind of fan base. You got the sissies and punks. You got the women that like to twerk. And the men, I guess, like to beat off looking at y'all. So I feel like their fan base is kind of similar to the Little Kim fan base back in the day. So y'all all pretty much fighting over the same damn fan base. So to me at this point, I feel like, you know what? I may not listen to GloRilla's music. She may not be my cup of tea, but I'm with her on this in regards of like, you know what? Let's call the truth to this stuff. Even though I'm sure it fuels the industry. Y'all like this back and forth stuff. It keeps, it keeps my grist for the mill going. The blogs live for it. It gives me something to talk about. But I do feel like we should call an end to this. And I would love to see a joint, any kind of joint situation, be it a song or tour from the both of them. Let's make it happen. The eclipse is tomorrow, so maybe, that'll happen with that. The Mercury and being in retrograde, we had an earthquake, we had all that stuff, which I didn't feel, by the way. Speaking of which, I don't remember, did talk about the earthquake situation earlier? Yeah, I didn't really feel, I meant to get to it. If I didn't, I'm just going to repeat myself. So, we had an earthquake in New York the other day, and I'm wanting to say this, I didn't even feel it. I didn't even know we had an earthquake until I had people messaging me talking about, I hope you're all right. I heard y'all had an earthquake down in New York or whatever, and I wanted to just check in and see if you were okay. So I had people messaging me and all this other stuff. And then I didn't know until I got to the gym. I glanced up at the TV and they were talking about some 4.8 magnitude earthquake, whatever. I'm like, we getting an earthquake? When is coming? Come to find out the shit happened. So I was working out and I'm like, and then I'm reading and I'm hearing all this other stuff. They're like, no, it happened already. So I didn't even feel it. I think a lot of people didn't feel it. Now, when I lived in LA, I endured some earthquakes and I definitely felt that. But in New York, no. Now, speaking of joint anything that I don't want to see transpire, let's talk about Justin Timberlake and Usher. So ever since Usher and Justin Timberlake ruled the charts in the 2000s with their respective solo careers, Usher technically in the late 90s, both men have been pitted against each other by the critics. Now, while JT and Ursh haven't taken the bait and have shown mutual respect for each other in public, could we be getting a joint album from the two? Now, here's what Justin revealed in his recent Broken Record interview. So he was asked, the person asked that was interviewing and said, I was reading that Usher said he's been on you about doing a collaborative album. Justin wrote, not recently. The person questioned, not recently. Justin was like, no. He's been very busy recently. So the person asked, well, yeah, he's been, laughs, but well, yes, he's been busy with his incredible residency. And then Justin wrote, Usher is an icon, man. That's a bad man. So this interview must be old because Usher ain't doing no residency. Or is it that he's doing a residency in Paris? Is that what he's doing? He's overseas doing a residency? Because I do remember like that one point, he did, the Vegas thing is done, I believe. But I remember at one point he was going to go overseas and he was doing something. So I think he is in another country doing a residency, which I actually think was cool. Like, instead of touring, I feel like the smart thing is be like, let me just do residencies in like a lot of big cities. So I'll do one in America. The American one, I'll do Vegas for maybe 2-year contract. And then if I want to do another residency, I'll do one in London for a year or two. I'll do one in Paris for a year or two. I'll do one in, so I'll do all the ones because I would love to do like a London, Paris, Milan. I'm thinking RuPaul's Drag Race. And you kind of do like one of those big places. That'd be like the cool thing to do. Instead of just like me traveling all over the world, I could just stay in one spot for a couple of years and just luxuriate in a lot of these international places. So he was asked would he do a record with him. He said, of course, I just think it just has to be the right one. We actually went into the studio originally. I think it was one of those things where I was maybe going to go in the studio and write something for one of his upcoming albums, just mess around. I don't think we ever got it. Maybe we also just didn't make enough time. I don't know. And so he's saying like he was down to doing a collaboration with him, that they would just work on some things, but they didn't feel like that there was something they could come up with. Probably because I think like y'all have a different aesthetics, and I can't see. Well, Usher do be singing other people's songs. He's not really a songwriter. But from what I got from this, it just feels like to me is that okay, first you were leeching off NSYNC in order to sell your dry ass new album, and now you want to leech off Usher. And in my opinion, I feel like y'all both could use the help because 2024, y'all both released abysmal records. I didn't particularly think Usher's new album was good. Justin, you already know what it's giving with that album that he's going to be out here heavily promoting. Nobody cared about both of y'all records. So you two joining forces, I don't see that as helping your careers in any way. I just feel like, you know what, this desperate attempt of JT trying to get re-invited to the cookout, it's just exhausting. It's embarrassing. I'm over it. I'm not feeling it. I can care less. I just don't see like how this whole situation will work. It's like Usher, yeah, he's off doing his thing. Justin's about to go on tour to promote his latest album and play the hits, which I'm sure more people will be interested in hearing versus the newer stuff. But I'm tired of just constantly bringing this up. I just feel like at this point, Justin, what you need to be doing, you need to reunite with NSYNC and do a reunion tour. I feel like NSYNC need to kind of go back in the studio and work on some music. Maybe an EP or like what New Kids on the Block. Look, New Kids on the Block has a new album coming out. Or if it's out already, I don't know. But they got a new album in the works. So I think like if NSYNC got back in the studio and worked on a record, I feel like the nostalgia fans, the legacy fans, they'll definitely come out and support it. And then you'll have Justin there with his fans. They'll be there to hear the music. Jessica have a little bit in the show where he does his little solo thing with his hits from that, and then NSYNC do their songs together. So y'all make it work out. Justin could be, NSYNC, they do their songs at the beginning. Justin has his little solo moment, and then in the end, the NSYNC comes out and closes out the show. Figure it out. And for nostalgia's sake, maybe you could bring on, I would say, like, don't even bring on a boy band. Like, get a girl group to come on. Like, can we get Danity Kane to reunite? Or Child Girls Aloud, bring them out. I heard they're over touring overseas or something like that. I don't know. They figure something out. Y'all can bring like make it like a little nostalgia tour or something. Now that I would pay for. Or if it comes to my job, I'll actually want to work that shit. But anyway, so shout out to them. Okay, so we have 3 more topics to go, and then we're done with today's show. So let's get into this story about RuPaul, who apparently wants Justice Smith to play him in his biopic. I guess they decided to make a movie or biopic on his memoir, The House of Hidden Meanings. He basically said that he would love to have Justice Smith play him. Now, we do have the clip of Mama Ru giving her thoughts. So please hold as I pull this up on her IG so that who she said she wanted to play her.
For years, people have asked me who would play me in a movie. And my stock answer was always Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. But on a serious note, it's come up a lot more recently since the memoir has come out. There's that kid who I just love. His name is Justice Smith. I think he would do a really, really good job. He's a fantastic actor, and I just love his energy. There's a sweetness about him that I just love. I think it would be Justice Smith. For years.
I agree with him on that. I couldn't, and funny enough, when I was watching, when I was thinking about it, I was like, who could play RuPaul? I could never come up with someone. I could never think of who would be a good person. If y'all could come up with someone else besides Justice Smith, y'all could drop it in the comments. But I was like, you know what? I like Justice Smith. I liked him I don't even know if we're going to get a sequel, but I loved him in Dungeons and Dragons. Anything that Justice Smith does, I absolutely love. And he is a part of the community. He's part of the Rainbow Mafia. And look, he's one of the rare ones that's actually in a relationship with a black man who's also black. Justice being black. He's also in a relationship with somebody who's black. So y'all be out here talking about black folks always going with white folks. There's some black queens out here. I mean, some black gays that's out here messing with their own kind. So, or kind. I said kind, like I'm from the South. So, in the comments it said, Coco Montrese, hey girl, bro, I would love to be Rue's good cousin for the Brewster Projects. You didn't know I was auditioning, did you, Rue? Oh yeah, because remember with the character that she played in in Snatch Game? Did she win that challenge? I don't think she did, but I think she. I don't remember, but I'm like, I remember when she played the character. Oh, was it? No, was it Snatch Game or was it the roast? I remember she did a roast and she, played his Rue's good cousin for the Brewster Projects. That was a cackle. Oh, So Brooklyn Heights put Evie Oddly. Evie Oddly, is she an actress? Can she act? I can't see it. I could definitely see Justice Smith doing the whole drag thing. And yes, Rue is tall in real life. I don't necessarily know what Justice Smith's height is, but I don't think it matters when you're on the big screen. Like everybody looks tall on camera anyway. So then as Titties was like, I was literally just thinking about this. I think we all were. Amanda Lepore put Black Hearts. I put Let's Make It Happen. Tia Coffee, who just won UK versus the world, put I would cast me, final answer. And then someone asked better question, who would play Michelle? That's actually a good question. Who would be a good Michelle Visage? If y'all could think of that, put it in the comments because I can't think of nobody off the top of my head. But I actually agree with this. I like this idea. And here's the thing, I want to put this in here too. Now, Justice Smith did comment on what Rue said in his IG stories and said, are you absolutely effing kidding me? I am so gagged. And he says, RuPaul official, I would do it in a heartbeat. And I'm here for it. So while there is no biopic in the works, I do feel like this is something that this is something that we definitely need to happen. Especially when I've been a fan of RuPaul since the beginning. Since the beginning of his career, Supermodel of the World days. I was a little too young to be Ru in the club scene. So I wasn't old enough to get up in the clubs when Ru was popping. But or when he was making his way up in the club scene. But when I first saw that Supermodel You Better Work video, and I was like, who is this tall black drag queen? I didn't know what a drag queen was, but I was just like, who is this tall black? And I didn't know it was a man in a dress, and I was just like pulled into it. I was like, who is this? And it was just like up in there with the kids and in the music video and pumping down Manhattan, just living her best life and just eating it up and pulling everybody in and all sorts of stuff. And just like the energy was just everything. And then following his career with the RuPaul show on VH1 and then the music career. And I know one of my friends, Joe Vaughn, always talks about Red Hot. That album is like the best, his favorite RuPaul album, because I felt like that was RuPaul really getting into her bag as an artist. And yeah, she may have been come across as a one-hit wonder. Shout out to Larry T. He is a friend of mine. But I know Ru has been considered a one-hit wonder. Supermodel You Better Wear, that was his biggest hit. But he's had so many songs over the years, and I'm glad he was smart enough to go independent and do his own thing, because the mainstream record label, I think he was on Rhino Records, they wasn't going to really support her. So she went and did her own thing, and she's been out here, been able to parlay her career into what it is, and then she's got the successful Drag Race and all that other stuff. So I would love to see this happen. I mean, we don't have a lot of queer biopics, especially with someone of RuPaul's magnitude. So we're the one to get on it, make it happen. Y'all make everything else happen out here in these streets. So really get out. Look, they made Party Monster, which I absolutely love, with Macaulay Culkin and Seth Green. So yeah, let's make this movie happen. I don't want a documentary. I want a movie. I want to see Justice Smith out here doing the drugs and fronting wee wee pole and being a go-go dancer, and them showing like the real club scene of the 80s. And sidebar, besides that, who's gonna play Michelle Visage? Who's playing Lady Bunny? Should they get Alaska to play her? Anus. Anus thing is possible. So maybe they could get her to play her. But anyway, so with that being said, House of Hidden Meetings is out now. RuPaul's Drag Race Season 16 airs every Friday on MTV. And sidebar, with the whole Drag Race child, I did not tell y'all. I told y'all who was going to make the top. I told y'all who was going to be in the top. I didn't say top 4, but I told y'all who was going to make it all the way to the end of Drag Race. I ain't going to tell you my source. But I told y'all who's going to be all the way at the end. And I'm loving this season so far. A lot of people saying it's boring. I'm like, it's not boring. I love that it feels like a competition series. And I love this idea that what they're doing with Drag Race, they're saving the Lollapalooza for the eliminated queens. Y'all need to make that a thing every season. Instead of doing Lollapalooza in the middle of the season where it's like, okay, so we just trying to find a way to eliminate one of the girls, which we all knew y'all were trying to get rid of Jax. Like, let's not do that. Make it a real competition where it's an opportunity for the eliminated queens to really show their entire ass during these lip syncs. A lip sync smackdown like the WWE, the WrestleMania of drag. And that's what it should be. So y'all need to make that a thing every season. And I really hope, because what I've heard is that I already know who the top two is. I'm not going to spoil it for y'all. I told a few people, but I'm not, if y'all don't want to know, I'm not going to say it, because I remember Roro got mad at me the last time when I did a spoiler without telling him it was a spoiler. So I'm going to keep it. So, with that being said, I also, if I'm not mistaken, because I know who the top two is, or the who makes it all the way to the end, the top two queens. The way that they're filming, I think they're doing it without an audience. So I'm actually hoping that they do that. They take it back to the olden days, where it's just like, we're keeping it in-house, we'll film it in the studio, nobody knows who's going to win. So it could be between the first one of the half of the top two or the other half of the top two. You won't find out who the winner is until the finale when you watch the TV, because we'll film the different, and the winner is twice. I say do it with confetti and everything, and then just sweep it up and then shoot the next sequence with the next person. And then the confetti pops, put the crown on, scepter, that sort of thing. I'd rather them do it that way than we got to rent out a theater. We got to have all the old queens come in and the fans and sit in the audience for 5 hours and film it. Because if they do it that way, I feel that that's why all the spoilers was wound up on Reddit. And we knew everything that was going on inside and out before the episode aired. So y'all need to cut that out. Let the audience go back to being surprised and not knowing nothing, because a lot of y'all got big damn mouths, and social media is just, a cesspool of spoilers. So keep it that way. That's all I got to say on that. Okay, so I got a comment. So I want Spice Girls with Girls Aloud on the U.S. tour, double dose of 4 hours of girl power. Yeah, I would love to see that. That we could get Spice Girls and Girls Aloud. And look, would that include all 5, or we just being like, okay, since Victoria Beckham was like the weakest singer out of all of them anyway, we don't necessarily need her there. Look, we can do without Victoria. Like, screw her. Stick with the Victoria. Is she still making clothes? I haven't heard from her in a month of Sundays in regards to the fashions. But anyway, so let's get to our final 2 topics, and that's Lil Nas X clapping back at a critic for alleging a relationship with a sun dodger. Now, when I heard sun dodger, I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, I didn't even know what the hell a damn sun dodger was. But then I had to really think about it before I did more research on it. And it's like, it's somebody who avoids the sun. So you call somebody either a white boy or somebody really light. First of all, that's prejudice, but whatever. So Lil Nas X is currently promoting his latest single, Light Again, which was released on March 29th. However, a recent TikTok video featuring the artist has apparently rubbed one social media user the wrong way. Now, in a clip, someone of a lighter complexion could be seen placing their hand on Nas's chin and chest while he rapped the lyrics. What is the lyrics? It was like a seemingly furious account, quote, tweeted the video and wrote, I told y'all, this is a class/status thing. As soon as celebrities get money, they get them a sun dodger. But they will blame it on bullying. They will say, love is love. I'm colorblind and like who I like. This is just my preference. So on Thursday, April 4th, Lil Nas X responded by saying, baby girl, it ain't no way you got all this from a 7-second TikTok. The interaction went viral online mainly because the aforementioned user referred to white people as sun dodgers, a term seemingly unfamiliar with many, until, me being one of them. I ain't never heard no damn sun dodger. I'm like, y'all making up shit? Y'all out here making up stuff? And first of all, y'all gonna leave Jack Harlow alone. Cause that's my other husband. I was like, because I was trying to bring up the tweet. Somebody wrote, right, like they need to leave Jack Harlow alone. Oh, they tried to say, because they was trying to say that's Jack Harlow hand. Sun Dodger is taking me out. All of that for a white hand is insane. I got confused because where is it all coming from? No cap, ain't this what you wanted people to get from a 7-second clip? LMFAO. And that was another thing too. It's like, okay, but you had somebody hand up in there. So it's like, okay, are you out here trolling again, Nazi? They said, I spent 10 minutes trying to figure out what a sun dodger was. Thought it was something demonic, shared one person underneath Hollywood Unlocks repost. Another comment read, I've been alive too long to have never heard this term. This is crazy. Other replies contain similar bewildered reactions, with one person misrepresenting the slur for an automobile. Saying, had me thinking it was a new car or something from Dodge, they replied. I'm like, why can't he get himself a new car? What's the big deal? Light Again came out on March 29th and was produced by Take a Day Trip. And quiet as it's kept, I feel like that's what this person that's I have referring to sun dodgers as using the sun dodger term. I think you need to go touch some grass and take your ass a day trip. So, and they said that this song they said arrived on the heels of Where Do We Go Now from the musicians Lil Nas X Long Live Montero film soundtrack. And it's just like, look, I ain't never heard no damn sun dodger. I ain't know what the hell that was. Y'all be out here coming out with something. Now, I've heard of other terms. Like, I've heard of, porch monkey. Like, I've heard all these little crazy racist terms. But sun dodger? I'm like, okay, sir. Or ma'am. Like, y'all just be pulling shit out y'all ass just so y'all can go viral. But look, I don't think that's what that was. Or maybe it was. I don't know. But I did see the clip. I didn't want to post it here because it comes with music and I didn't want to get the page flagged or whatever for copyright or whatever. But child, y'all got way too much time in y'all hands that y'all would just be making up whole narratives off of a little clip. But maybe you shouldn't have just put the hand in it. But then again, maybe the song wouldn't have even got y'all talking if he didn't had somebody hand rubbing over all on him. So it said there's only 4 girls allowed. Yeah, I know about one of them passed away from cancer. So look, it evens out. You got 4 girls allowed, and you got 4 girls from the Spice Girls. Now, speaking of being in a relationship with sun dodgers, no, that was racist. That was messy. Now, Don Lemon married his son dodger, Tim Malone. Since we talking about sun dodger, let me stop. This is y'all gonna have me out here saying that stupid term. But anyway, so yeah, he married his man. I think yesterday. Yeah, yesterday he got married. Shout out to him. The longtime CNN anchor who now has his own streaming program, The Don Lemon Show, married his longtime partner, Tim Malone, a real estate broker, on April 6th in New York City. Speaking exclusively to people a few days before the wedding, the grooms revealed they weren't stressed about the big day. Says, I'm a last-minute person. This is what Lemon 58 said, and most things I just don't worry about. However, his wedding has proven to be an exception to the rule, saying, but this one I'm secretly worried about, but I'm letting Tim take the reins because he's a good planner. I'll be writing questions like for the UN ambassador, and he'll be saying, oh, what are we going to put the buttons on the jackets? Or on their jackets. It's an important question, but I'm like, huh? What? So he has a million questions, but usually he gets it done without me even answering. The ceremony at Fifth Avenue's Presbyterian Church in Midtown Manhattan was officiated by the United States Ambassador for the United States, Linda Thomas Greenfield, in front of roughly 140 guests. Saying she's a friend and means so much to us, Lemon said, having asked Thomas Greenfield as their officiant. For the service, the grooms who wore custom suits by Suit Supply and exchanged rings designed by Mark Lash incorporated marriage traditions inspired by each of their families into their unique ceremony. Saying Tim is from a big Irish family, so we're planning a big Irish blessing in this ceremony. This is what Lemon says. He also knows that blessings were led by Malone's 2 sisters. Lemon also added that at the end, we jump over a broom. This, Lemon and Malone say, pays respect to the one symbolic way for enslaved people in the American South to recognize their marriages, noting that today the tradition is a way to honor those who did it before them. Saying the road to the altar has been a long time one for Lemon and Malone, who have been engaged for 5 years, but it was important the couple that they have a big traditional wedding day, saying, we wanted to make a public statement and we wanted to involve our loved ones. We obviously could have easily gone to City Hall. We could have used COVID as a perfect excuse to do something really quiet. But I think this is also a message, for I don't know what % of our guests on both sides, but for a lot of them, it's going to be their first gay wedding. So I said it's a great thing if you want, because with Don Lemon being into politics and stuff, he's gonna make a political stance on certain things and use his marriage as a way to like set a statement. It's like, yeah, we're here, we're queer, we're not going nowhere. I'm gonna get married, I'm gonna make a statement, and that what, at the end of the day, we're gonna stand united, and we're gonna show people that you know queer people out here can get married. And I love the fact that they actually got married in a church. Because there's always been situations where they always try to say like God hates gays and all this other stuff, and homosexuality is going to be incorporated or allowed in this type of situation. So it was great that they have that they actually was like, we're going to get married in a church, a Presbyterian church. Now, in regards of the celebrities that were there, and I'm sure they're going to talk about this on The View tomorrow. So you had Clive Davis, half homosexual behind, but I think he a full one because he said he bisexual. Clive Davis was there, and among the View co-hosts, everybody was there except Whoopi and Alyssa Farrah Griffin. So Joy Behar was there, Sarah Haynes, Anna Navarro Cardenas, and Sunny Hostin. Sunny will show up to an envelope opening, acting like it's all about her. But because she know every damn body. But and it said additional guests included former Today Show host Matt Lauer and girlfriend Shaman Abbas, Real Housewives of New York City alum Luann de Lesseps, Sex in the City and Emily in Paris creator Darren Star, Tamron Hall, and Alec and Hilaria Baldwin. CNN's Kate Bolden, Aaron Burnett, and Dana Bash also attended. And they said that guests formed a New Orleans-style second line and marched from the church to Ralph Lauren's Polo Bar behind the Gotham Kings band in honor of Lemon, who grew up in Baton Rouge. The location served as a special menu, including chicken under a brick and petite fours, and was decorated with photos taken throughout the couple's time together, providing a full circle moment for the newlyweds, saying that we had our first date at Polo Bar. It was election night in 2016. We had gone to a viewing party downtown. Isn't that where you tip the table over? Lemon asked, to which Malone replies with a laugh, yes. So that night, we went to this party in Cipriani's, and all of these fancy people were there. Stars Martha Stewart. They put these plywood pieces on the table to make them bigger, and when Tim sat down, he hit the edge and flipped the entire table. All the glassware, all the candles, everything went flying, and I was like, all right, well, that's our first date right there. At that point in the evening, Malone and Lemon, remember, it seemed clear Hillary Clinton was going to win. Sure, but we know what happened after that. I looked at my CNN email. I was like, let's get out of here. It's not going to be pretty, Lemon shares. And we went uptown to the Polo Bar. The restaurant is subterranean, so we were sort of in a bunker. He recalls being given the night off as his primetime slot had been taken over by the election coverage. Saying I was kind of glad because it would have been a surreal thing to watch on camera. Throughout the meal, he and Malone got intermittent updates via spotty cell service and other diners. Tim and I looked at each other and I said to him, I don't want to be alone tonight. It was so weird. We went back to my apartment in Harlem and then we never left. So, and they also said they have annual LGBTQ pride events that Tim puts together at their Hampton summer, home or whatever. I'm surprised they don't have a Fire Island spot. I thought they would do but maybe that's so easy. I guess real bougie gays go to the Hamptons. Me, I'm like, I love Fire Island. I used to go there every year for a long time. I haven't been in 5 years. I need to take a visit back out to Fire Island. Because I have a lot of friends, a lot of people I know out there. So yeah, I need to one of these summers. Hopefully, maybe I could this summer take a trip out there. But nevertheless, I say all this. Congratulations, Dawn. I'm happy for you that you were able to finally tie the knot with your man. It's been a long time coming. Y'all was engaged for 5 years. And I feel like when the day comes when I get myself in one of those long-term LGBTQ or little queer relationships, I get my little somebody. I want to do an annual pride party. Instead of going to Pride, I'm like, we celebrate the Pride and we have our little annual Pride party at the house. All my homosexuals come over and allies, and we just dip it into it. We drink, we eat barbecue, we party. That's always been a dream that I've always, one of my fantasies that I've always had when I get myself a wealthy significant other, and I'm living my white woman fantasy. But anyway, so shout out to him and all that good stuff. I don't know. So before I get up out of here, y'all got anything else y'all want to say? Because this was the last topic, and we wrapping up the show. 2.5 hour show. I had a feeling it was going to be that. There was some other topics that I saw, and I was like, it feels like it's going to be a long-winded show. I didn't want to be up here all night doing, topics and all this other stuff. So I was like, I had to make cuts. So I'm going to try to do a show possibly Tuesday. I know a friend of mine is supposed to be coming into town from LA because he's going to be doing a lot of stuff. And, they have the Drag Race finale next week, which I was hoping that I was going to go to, but I don't think I'm going to be able to because I'll probably be working. So it was a lot of stuff like that the Drag Race finale in New York. I was hoping I was going to go to that, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do it. But I'll get all the tea and I'll bring it here to the show. So let me see. So you get a relationship probably when you're not 80. Then by that time I'll be all shriveled up and nobody's gonna want my ass at that point. I have to be a lot of money. I don't know who I'm fooling. Me, it's just like I've always said about relationships, I get tired of people relatively quickly. I like my space. I like to be kind of off doing my own thing. It's just sort of like I value my friendships more than relationships. So I feel like I'm like that person. Like I need to be off of my own thing. So when people always talk about getting in a relationship or want to be, no, I'm I think I'm way too set in my ways. It's really gonna have to take somebody who could really put up with my shit in order for me to break through that brick. You know how we Virgos are. We're hard to love. But anyway. Thank you all for watching this latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Do yourselves a solid, hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification button so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of our show. Thank you for those of you who are watching me over on the Twitter, because there's a lot. Because I can see the numbers from here. Also, those of you who are watching on my YouTube channel, those of you who are watching on my Twitch channel, Facebook has got whatever. But I love the fact that a lot of y'all, I put the tags and everything there. Y'all catch it, you don't, you don't. But I see a lot of y'all that are in watching. I appreciate y'all. Definitely love the fact that the new people that also have been subscribing, because I have noticed that I've got new subscribers. I've been getting the alerts whenever. So I've gotten a lot of subscribers in the past week. So thank you all for those of you who are subscribing. Also, if you see any clips or videos or whatever, be sure to share it, all that good stuff. So I appreciate all of you that really stick out and watch the show, were entertained, and having your cackles and comment during the live show as well as the playback. So once again, love you all for watching. And until next time, ciao, darlings.